Distinguished senators, the bill to establish legislator salary for 5,000 has been forwarded to the committee, and as you may be aware, our current salary in the projected budget stands at 8,000 per senator. It's not any secret in this country. So this bill will come along with the current budget. The report will come along with the current budget proposing the 5,000 benchmark. So we'll be ready to make this report either before the passage of the budget so that the necessary adjustment can be made in the projection that is made currently. So by next week, the full report will be made for committee members to sign, because we have to act on this bill before the passage of the budget so that we can make the necessary adjustment. No, that's how it's supposed to be. Because the current projection is at $8,000. Is a committee something? Thank you. We should do briefing on this. I will do the briefing. Okay. Yeah. So by next week the report will be made. Next week the report will be made. Is it important? No, but you're not. Abajala, you are not close with the authority to brief us. But yeah, those who have. If you put in the chat room the bill, okay. The proponent of the bill you put in the chat room, right? Yeah. Everybody should have a copy. Okay, thank you. We need some copy, eh? Okay, please put it in the chat room. And Mr. President, yeah. Mr. President, for all of you on the same side with the committee, please let the presiding authorize the Secretary of the Senate to transmit that bill again to the committee and copies to all senators. We'll do that. So next week, there can be no. I'm a Secretary of the Senate. You will provide copy to each member of the bill, and the proponent of the bill put in the chat room simultaneously. Thank you. But the debate, wait for the debate. But wait for the debate. You want us to start debating now? Don't I say that the debate now? You want us to do the debate now? Oh, my bachelor is in economics. Report from Standing Committee. Honorable Duncan, control your emotion. Control your emotion. Honorable Duncan, control your emotion. Honorable Duncan. But what about the debate? You decided the floor. No, Honorable Duncan. Stop disturbing the floor. Take your emotions from this thing. Wait. Debate. What for the debate? Oh, you can until they have press conference outside. Clear argument. Get the floor to the chairman. The chairman, you got to be on the floor. Domo.
Hey, they can wait for the debate. What debate? Why you talking about? We don't worry for the father. Go ahead, come on. If you don't go ahead.
Why you did this there? We just split it 8 into 2. We just make a 4,000.
No, when you get the 3,000, you make it 2, we agree.
Okay. Now we have the committee chairman. Have the floor. I'm a chair, you have the floor. Yeah, you have the floor.
Y'all wait for the
debate.
Y'all wait for the debate. Who will be at the debate?
Media engagement has to do with responding to misinformation regarding the legal basis for the Senate conducting public hearing on the national budget for 2026. Senator Dillon, welcome to the media.
Thank you, gentlemen. I hope I'm right because I don't see any lady. Well, we're here with different session. I just wanted to make it clear that the Senate is not in violation of the law. The Constitution is very clear. The text of the Constitution is clear that the budget being a very new financial bill originates in the House. Originates in the House. It begins from, commences, starts from that process of and then of course the Senate concurs if the Senate chooses to do so with what the House passed, or the Senate can propose amendments. That means the House does not have exclusive authority over the budget. What the Senate cannot do before the House is to pass the budget before the House passes the budget. That is the meat of what is missing in all of these arguments. We thought to clarify, and sometimes too, you realize that all of you here, you are legislative reporters, you are in these chambers, you know these things. You have a duty not to us, but to the society to help correct by your knowledge and expertise. You've been here, it has been the law, it has been the practice, it has been the protocol that the budget does not, the draft budget does not only go to the House. The official communication addressing or submitting the budget to the House is also that copy, not carbon copy. The Speaker is addressed by the President submitting the budget through a formal communication for the House. At the same time, the President pro tempore is addressed by the President, formal communication, submitting the budget to the Senate. Knowing that the House has original jurisdiction over the budget to pass it first. The processes leading to passing it first is not restricted to the House. They have known this from time to time. From President Charles Taylor to the 12 years of Ellen, to the 6 years of George Weah, and to the near 2 years of Joseph Boakai, the House receives the budget through the formal communication under the signature of the President the Senate receives the budget at the same time through a formal communication addressed to the President pro tempore for the Senate. It makes the agenda, it goes to the respective committees. If the argument is the Senate does not have original jurisdiction over the budget, which as contemplated by the Constitution, for many years, it has been joint budget hearing. Joint budget hearing. The Senate and the House will do joint budget hearing from Taylor to Elling to Weir to now Bwaga. If the House was the only institution that should only hear the budget, deliberate on the budget, pass it before it comes to the Senate for concurrent or proposed amendments, why have we been doing joint budget hearings? We have been doing so to expedite the process so that by the time the joint committees send their reports to the two chambers, we can almost like pass the budget, together. Concurrence will not be a difficult or challenging thing. We have decided that we should hold Senate budget hearing while the House is also proceeding. The House commenced its budget hearing. Before we did the budget hearing, we had an understanding. The day the minister come here, he will not come on his side. The day the other sector coming, so we will be dealing with the other sector. We are not responsible for people's misunderstanding of the law. I just wanted to make it clear. The Senate is not in violation of the law. The CNC political leader like to be in the news, sometimes like myself too, but he like to be in the news for the wrong reason. And all I know, he calls me around. Musa let him go to the court. The House has taken the Senate to court before on our decision to pass on a concession agreement, loan agreement, and the House challenged that it had the jurisdiction to pass that agreement first. And the matter went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ruled that the Senate was not wrong. Let it go there again. Honorable President, we are in 2021. Those of you who are assigned, you know the history. You know the facts. They are available.
So we'll take question.
What has triggered the conversation is people are concerned. So why is it being done differently at this point? When we have seen a joint hearing being conducted by both houses at this time, there is a shift. Has there been something happening in the past?
The first person who is supposed to correct that, fact check that, is you, the press pool here, to say this happened before. The Senate has had budget hearing separate from the House. While the House was holding budget hearing, the Senate in 2021, 2022, Honor Pro Tem, our chair, I made that motion. I made this motion as well for us to hold separate hearing. Look, if some of you sit at where we sit, unless you don't have conscience, unless it doesn't play on you, to have a $1 billion budget and nobody seems to be opening the budget to know what we're giving to each sector and to institutions, and everything is the lawmaker then for themselves. Because people are not opening the budget. We want to open this budget here.
Is it at the lower house?
Yeah, that joint committee and the lower house. I don't want to disparage the lower house. You follow their hearing and follow ours, and you'll see the difference. I don't want to disparage the house. That is an honorable house, and those are my colleagues. The Senate will play the elderly role in this matter and going forward. You don't understand what it means for nobody to open this budget where they book, including you in the media, majority of you. Let me put myself in trouble. What a legislative budget. How about that? Oh, okay, then I'll tell all the budget. This is over 700 page document, 700 page document. 1.2 billion. What are we giving to the University of Liberia? What are we taking drug from? DA budget from to what? 3.9 million now to 7 million plus. What are we taking education budget from? 120 million to over 134 million. What are we taking the other sector from? If people open the budget, they say agricultural ministry get 13 million. Oh, the whole agricultural sector get 13 million. Where is legit pool education over the budget? Agricultural ministry is not the agricultural sector. You have CARI, you got CDA, you got different institutions that catering to different issues under the agricultural sector. When you put all the budget together, it's way more than 13 million. But when they look at the agricultural ministry budget, they say they get agriculture 13 million. JFK has 9 million in the budget. We can go on. The security sector has jumped from over 101 million to by additional 10 million for the security sector. The legislature budget, of course, has increased from $41 million to 51. We want to open this budget, hold these hearings, so that people understand why these increases, which institution has been delivered, which institution is being challenged, where are the shifts. Then, when we prepare ourselves on the horizon of budget, we'll already be ready to know what to concur with or what kind of amendment proposals to make.
Gary Joseph from Fish Africa. Senator, what do you have to say to your critics that actually think allocations will not reconcile with one another since in fact two houses are having separate hearings?
Then you have obligation to educate. When the House pass the budget and make shift and send it to us, that they have that authority to do it first. When we have different view, we will pass our view different from the House, and then we'll send it back to the House with the formation of a conference committee to harmonize the two. Then we'll have one budget sent to the executive mansion. You in the media, you have that responsibility to also help to educate the public. And so I guess sound friendly, BJ, your own report their headline can be different from the body of the story. That you go report say bow down to Minister of Labor. That was not right. You were here, you did live recording. Your headline, maybe you wanted to say it, this will come new there. But your headline was different from the body of your story. It's not good at that. Don't be sensational.
Senator, my name is Mamoto.
Yeah, again, another headline. They don't start the media.
My name is Mamoto from the Library Investigator. So, sir, I want to know whether the Library Senate has already discussed with the House leadership to know the schedule just to avoid conflict.
Their schedule.
It's a schedule that.
Their schedule. We are not, look, this house is the place we all affectionately refer to as the House of Elders. We are not flawless here. We have our flaws, we have our imperfection, but we don't guess when we're doing things here. There were discussions. It's not possible for us to know the final ministers will be over there today, and then we'll call him here today. There were discussions. Their schedule. Their schedule.
Just finally from my end, with everything happening now surrounding the budget, the both houses having divided opinions on which house should have the hearing, do you see this budget being passed before the legislature?
Yeah.
For
Yeah. The few person talking, the House having hearing. Few person won't be in the news. They don't want to talk. The House Budget Committee is having hearing.
And my question is coming from the background that you said initially that the reason why there was that joint committee, hearing of the budget was because the both houses wanted to expedite the process.
Then there were too much question and cloud. Oh, the tempo of the budget. In fact, That John hearing never allow you, the media, and the people to know what in the book. The Senate is opening the book. Let's open the book. First thing, if JFK has 6 million projected in the budget, you already made the public believe that we don't want we get. We don't want to get JFK 6 million. They play it coming from the draft. You don't get that? This draft ain't coming from the legislature. Eh? This draft is not coming from the legislature. It's coming from the executive. If the executive did not give or project additional money for fire service, you are not saying the executive did not consider fire service increase. You are already fed with the lawmaker for the draft that they receive, or you already pounding on the lawmaker for the draft we receive. Our business to look in the budget. Where is fire service? Fire service is 3 million. We need to take fire service to 5 million because we have appropriation power. Okay? Oh, I want that for University of Liberia. And you see, they get there for themselves. We did not prepare the draft. And I'm not trying to shift blame because it's one government working in coordination. The executive has done its part by submitting a draft. Our business is to do the appropriation in keeping with the priorities of the government.
Just a final question.
So, our hearing is in no way an impediment to what is happening in the house. The house is having hearing.
Just a final question from my end.
Yeah.
Today, the update from the committee on
Yeah, feel free. Ask any question or
the
engagement.
committee on
We shouldn't be
ways
restricted.
organized, created some sort of tension. Session was disrupted for a couple of minutes based on the reintroduction of that conversation around the reduction in your police salary or in the senator's salary from 8,000 to 5,000. Given what we saw today, are you optimistic that this quest to have lawmakers' salaries reduced is going to be a successful?
Yeah, it's going to be successful. It's already been successful. Now it's back on the floor. It's back on the agenda. I can understand the emotions and the sentiment. I can understand it. Look, referee can get a red card. And I say, if a player running and mistakenly clip behind his friend, the referee can decide to give red card. If I see referee running and mistakenly clip behind one player, he can't get a red card. It's not, only the match commissioner can punish the referee or decide what to do with the referee. It is courage to say in the interest of the country, I will reduce my salary so that I can have the courage because I have the authority by law to decide what other people making. So let me start with myself so that when I'm dealing with other people on the salary, they will understand I mean business. Okay. We set the budget law annually and decide the value and the threshold for public vehicle, for public officials. We set that threshold by the law, $45,000. Anybody who buy a car beyond $45,000, if it is not the president, the vice president, the speaker, the pro tem, the deputy speaker, the chief justice, that person is in trouble with the budget law. That's the authority we have in keeping with Article 36 of the Constitution to set our salary. Article 36 of the Constitution, and under the executive, the president and the vice president will make salary as determined by the legislature. Under the judiciary, the chief justice, associate justices, and people in the judiciary will make salary in keeping with the determination by law, by the legislature. So all we're saying, let's set our salary. I have always proposed the base or ceiling, 5,000 or below. Any of my colleagues who say we should make less than 5,000, I'm ready. But let's make the law. The advantage of making the law, it will be clear that you in the media and the people will not be guessing. Because I don't care how we toil for Judgment Day, The poster said we're making 15,000 a year. Even though you in the media, the budget law, the voucher, all the financial trade shows that our net salary after the reduction from 15,000 gross, our net salary here is 10,000 gross. Deduction, tax deduction brings it to 7,900, 8,000. You understand? But if we're on radio now, you open the line. Someone say they both making 15,000 hours. They think, yeah, we tired talking, we tired using it to talk. Let's pass a law. When we set our salary out in proportion 5,000 max, especially for lawmakers. If we pass that law and we live by it, 100 lawmakers from the Senate and the House will save the country $4 million US every year just by that courageous action. Every year. Then imagine it will cut our own salary for the country. That courage would not be difficult to find to cut the president's salary, to cut the vice president's salary.
Is that the next packet?
We say public officials should not make anything more than 5,000. If we keep it, and some people say, oh, don't mind that Jello man, he's fake, and this and that. Fine. Find majority lawmakers to fake like me. Let's agree to make 5,000 and see if the 4 million will save the country every year will be fake. It will put out 4 million in agriculture, in health, in education, or something tangible for the country. Let's see if the dividend will be fake. Call on your lawmakers to fake like me only once. Let pass that law. Let me 5,000. $4 million generated or realized just from the Senate and from the legislature. Subsequently, we can go to the judiciary. We can go to the executive. We can now sit down and determine SOEs, any public entity enacted by law, created, established by the legislature should be able to determine their salary, especially the highest echelon of this institution. You know how many persons in public service, in government and public entities make far more money than lawmakers? I'm not doing this to get even at people. I'm doing this as a pay settler. Pay settler that we, the leaders, who have the authority and the power by law, let's start. You see, the legislature, the executive finished cooking the food for the country for 2026. The executive has been the law.
Good evening, folks. Welcome back to BKS TV and welcome to the Heat Hour program here on BKS TV. My name is Junior Payne, your regular host of the show, and of course, on tonight's edition of the show is going to be super heavy, super exciting, and very, very great too, because we have a very interesting guest here on the show. Before I bring him on or introduce him, a lot of things happen today in Liberia. A hell lot of things happen. But let me use this medium to say Merry Christmas and Happy Prosperous New Year to all of you in advance from BKS TV family and BKS radio station. This show has been relayed on Voice of BKS in Butua Town, Nima County, and also on Voice of Tapeta in Tapeta City, Nima County. Today is the second day of December 2025. We got a few days to call the end of the year. And I know some of you have succeeded this year. Some of you too have not succeeded this year. A lot of things have been happening over the year. But once you are still alive, I can assure you that if you keep working harder, you will get to where you want to be. Today, we clock 10,000 followers on our official Facebook page. And we want to say thank you to all of you who have been there with us from the beginning of this. I remember a few months back when we started this, we were just at little at 200 followers. And today we have clocked 10,000 followers. This is all because of you people. We want to say thank you to all of you for that, for always being there as our loyal followers and supporters. Tell us where you're watching us from flexibly in the comment section. Let's recognize you too on the show. I think the CEO had to can do something here. Yeah, we bring him on. He's supposed to can do something. But today, what seems to be a drama arose at the Liberia Senate when the communication the communication from Senator Abraham Darius Dillon to reduce the salary of lawmakers was reintroduced on the floor. And a very heated session was held today at the Liberian Senate. And abruptly, the session was paused after lawmakers clashed over a proposal to slash their own salaries from 8,000 to 5,000. Some of the men said, no, we can't do it. We can't drop our salary from 8,000 to 5,000. I mean, where is this bill coming from? Why don't I have a copy of this communication? What is going on? So some people, some lawmakers, some senators are not very happy with the decision that a communication is on the floor currently being reviewed, that their salary be reduced from 8,000 United States dollars to 5,000 United States dollars. I mean, come on, man. These people receiving all of the best of allowances, the best of support they need. They got gas slip, they got scratch card, and everything. They are not paying their own staffers. And you're making 8,000. But you got people who can survive on less than $100 a month. But you cannot survive on that when you are given gas slip, when you are given scratch card, you got internet, you got access to electricity, you got everything in your possession, but you cannot survive on 5,000. A very serious argument today. Very serious one. Some people are not satisfied. They are not satisfied. They are not. I don't know. This is something concerning, but the panelists will join us here very shortly as we have it discussed in details. President Joseph Joman Boakai is holding a cabinet retreat in Bombing County, Tottenberg. Let's try to bring you an update from there to Vex Evening on the shore. But before we go to that, the House Joint Committee on Investment and Concession, Judiciary and Transport had a hearing today with the Ministry of Justice regarding the current status of the Liberia Guinea Access Agreement. And of course, we will try to bring you Vix one from Bombing County, Tottenberg. Our CEO is in the back and the guest who is already in the back. President Joseph Joman Boakai Sr. today held his 8th cabinet meeting and the first outside Monrovia, focusing on rule of law, corruption, job creation, and youth rehabilitation. Addressing officials, the president declared suspended 10 new cases, LACC matters must be resolved quickly, as I said. And let me tell the police, the badges you wear are not hunting lessons to break the law. He stressed that job creation remains a major priority, noting that many young Liberians are trained and ready to work. He urged all ministries and agencies to meet their targets under the performance management system. President Boakai reaffirms his thought stance on corruption, saying all matters sent to the LACC must be handled without delay. He warned that delays create mistrust and undermine national progress. On drugs, he said government is not only fighting trafficking, but also working on rehabilitating affected youth. The president added that the economy is stabilizing and growth is beginning to pick up. The Bombing County meeting marks the administration's first cabinet engagement held outside the capital, a move the president says brings leadership closer to the people. Again, folks, welcome this evening to BKS TV and welcome to the Heat Hour program here on BKS TV. On the Heat Hour, we say dialogue and our confrontation. We say words and our bullet. In tonight's edition of the show, we'll be hosting Mr. George M. Flomo. George M. Flomo is a dynamic leader committed to service, business, and of course, he comes from the background of healthcare and now is into humanitarian activities. He's currently the project director for the United Citizen Council in America, the United Nima Citizen Council in America, UNICO for short. And of course, Joyce joined us here tonight on the show as we discuss Nima politics. CEO, good evening and welcome to the show this evening. How you doing, Chief?
Thank you. You know, today is an exciting day. I have my own brother, my own brother as my as one of our guest today. So it's going to be interesting. I won't speak for him. He will speak for himself. But I want to say thanks to everyone. We also have D9 TV relaying this live today. So it's Voice of Tapeta, BKS in Butu, and then D9 TV. But before we bring our guests on, I want to say I'm excited.
I think the CEO is having some network problem.
You can hear me?
I'm hearing you now, but you kind of like sticking. I don't know why.
I don't have you know.
Okay, but I think it's okay now.
It's okay now. Yeah, I was saying I'm excited. Today marks a big day for us. Today we hit, like you said, 10,000 marker, 10,000 followers, and we started this just 6 months ago with little under 200 followers. So to go from 200 followers in July and December to hit 10,000 organic follower, I want to say thanks to everyone, the entire team, the panelists, our journalists in Liberia, our followers, those who believe in us, our guests, and I mean everyone who put in the work to get us to where we are. I want to say thank you so much for that. We have more to go. We hit 10,000. Let's shoot for the next 10,000 within the next few months. But it's a great thing. I'm excited today to see the magic number. But again, George is my brother. He's going to be here. We'll have a great conversation. We'll learn a lot from him. He has a vast experience when it comes to Nima community, so many things. So I won't speak for him. I will let him do his own introduction, and we'll look forward to having a good conversation tonight.
Thank you so much, CEO. We will go for this break, and once we do that, we'll bring our guest on. I think this is a video from him.
Yeah,
this is to show you that he has been working behind the scene, and we want to appreciate him for being on the show tonight, Mr. George M. Flomo. Let's go for this break. We'll be back. And so, folks, thank you and welcome back to the show this evening. That was Mr. George in the red side dancing. I don't know what was they were thinking. Let's welcome him to the show. Mr. George, good evening and welcome to BKS TV. How you doing this evening, Chief?
Good evening, Mr. Payne. It's good to be here on BKS. It's good to have an interaction with you guys tonight, my friend.
Well, it's wonderful having you on here. Your portfolio that was sent to me, I must admit I'm impressed. And also the project director for the United Nima Citizen Council in the U.S., UNICO for short. Let's get to know who you are, your name, where you hail from, your professional background, your educational background, and a bit of your family background too as well. Let's start the conversation from there this evening, Chief.
Thank you so much. I've been following BKS for a very long time, and I'm so impressed. I'm very impressed because I see that BKS is in good hands, and I strongly believe that the future of BKS, is going to be incredible. And thanks to my brother, the CEO, Mr. Arvin Seka, who invited me on this show tonight. And, I have seen and I've interacted with him for a very long time, and I know how much he cares about the people of Nimba and just how much he wants to give back to the people of Nimba. Well, my name is Mr. George Flomo. I hail from District Number 2, Nimba County, and I'm just from San Nicolas. My grandfather is from Makinto, just outside of San Nicolas. My maternal grandmother is from Segé, just pretty much apparently my father decided that he was not going to marry way too far, so he went to say gay and marry another girl from there and brought her to Macento. So that's the kind of connection that we have with the Sai people. But like apparently you saw my resume. My resume speaks for for itself. Ivan knows me very well. I have been in the environment. I've engaged with people from different backgrounds. And when it comes to finance, I've worked in various financial institutions here in America, and as well as working with other institutions in Liberia as well. And when it comes to business-wise, my wife and I, we have a nonprofit institution here. It's a for-profit institution that actually employs a lot of Liberians in the diaspora. So pretty much that's the kind of little resume. I don't want to speak so much about myself because tonight is for the people of Liberia, the people of Nimba, and I feel like they have so much to gain from this conversation tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. It looks like our host has some. Okay, he's coming back there. Let's see if we can get him back on there. So, host that's supposed to let me in, I'm letting him now. You're back, Mr. Host.
Yeah, I think I'm experiencing some technical problem, but I think it's okay now. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. He just gave his background.
Okay, that's great. So, Mr. George, it's good having you on the show here this evening. It's very great having you. D9 TV is relaying the show on D9 TV too as well. Let's start a conversation from Unico. I know you want to discuss more of Nimba politics, more of Liberia politics and stuff like that. But let's start from Unico, where you serve as project director. What have been some of your major projects so far this year, over the years, especially in Nimba County? Any updates from there?
Tonight I appear on the show as a Nimbadian. Not solely representing Unico, even though I'm the project director of Unico. I'm going to give a little bit of our background on the Unico because the conversation here tonight is more about Nimba County because Unico conversation has to be approved by the board of directors and also by the national president. But this is not anything that has to do with any like maybe some sort of inner motive, but I do believe that the people of Nimba also wants to know what we have done for them over the years as well. And as a project director of Unico, we have done a lot of incredible things. I've had the opportunity to travel outside of Nimba, in fact, of our San Nicola area. I went deep into Nimba County and interaction with people from different diverse backgrounds. I traveled to the entire statutory districts. I went to the various cities in Nimba, and I interacted with the town chief, the elders of the town, and the statutory superintendents, and I had conversation with them. You know, I got to know them personally because I wanted to listen to their story, what they have to offer the Nimba people. And when I came back to Monrovia, I had the opportunity to engage with them to see how we can try to advance the idea of the Nimba One agenda, how we can unite them together, and how we can bring all of them together. So under the auspices of Unico as a project director, we are building one of the biggest buildings in Nimba County right now, the Women Empowerment Center that will cost over $250,000. And I'm proud to report, under the auspices of our most dynamic president, the vice president, Samuel Wilbert G. and Nelson McKay. That building tonight, we have an electricity that came from JEP tonight has been wired into the building, and plastering is ongoing. And we have a lot of great exciting moments that will be coming up in the next few days. And apart from just implementing that project, we are putting a lot of students on scholarship. When you go to the Nimba universities, the Unico family have people on scholarship. And we are also trying to establish a relationship, a sisterly relationship between universities in the diaspora and the NIMBA University, where students will have the opportunity to do student exchange program. And they can come here in the US and learn more things. And then folks from the US will go back into NIMBA to learn other things. And one of the things that we are facing, especially difficulties on, is the dormitory. When the superintendent was here, I had a conversation with her. When all the representatives, the senators, including Senator Yan Twine, Senator Samuel Koga, we had this conversation. How can we elevate the life of the students back home? How can we give them the opportunity for them to succeed? These are some of the things that, as a project director, I'm working on. And I look forward to engaging with you guys on a very good conversation tonight to see how we can advance UNICO, and not just about politics. We are tired with politics. Let us go into humanitarian work. Let us do something that will benefit the Irish Libanians or Liberians who will maybe in the future wants to move back home, back to NIMBA County to settle there. What opportunities can we give them? And that is something that, as a project director, I'm working on day in and day out.
Thank you. Thank you. It looks like our host is having some technical difficulties here, but we will talk about some things here. Like you said, UNICO, you are not here to represent UNICO, but on the same time too, we can't divorce you from UNICO because of your role there. You said something, my dear brother, about one NIMBA agenda, and then you tie that to UNICO. We'll go into details here, but as you know, there's this cliche going around in NIMBA about one NIMBA agenda. Correct me if I'm wrong. So are you insinuating or saying that you guys were the one that came up with this one NIMBA agenda first, tying that to UNICO before the whole political back and forth with this one NIMBA agenda came about?
Well, when, thank you, CEO. When when Samuel Wobeji took over UNICO, the goal is to bring Nimbadians under one umbrella. That was his goal. That we should encourage more people to come under one umbrella. And you are seeing the history. Whether it is folks who broke away from UNICO over the years, they were not successful because they wanted to do an independent stuff. But when we come under one umbrella, when we have a focused agenda, that we believe that as Nibanians, we have to come together as brothers and sisters. No matter how much we disagree with one another, we should still be able to come to the tables as brothers and sisters to have a conversation. And that was the goal of Samuel Wobeji, that even though we disagree with one another, can we come together at the end of the day? So the one NIMBA agenda, I believe, whether it is on the late Senator Johnson,
yeah.
whether it is the late, Dole, all these folks, I believe that they still believe that NIMBA County, we have to be united. We need to be united as a caucus, so that when we speak with one voice. So that when we come together, people respect us. But when we have a divided opinion, and I believe what the vice president said before, and I really admire his words. He said, right now, everybody are doing their own stuff. At the end of the day, when the ball bounces, we will come to the center and have a conversation to see where we have to go. So I believe in the one NIMBA agenda, and I do believe that at the end of the day, CEO, we will have the agenda that our generation, I want my kids to go to NIMBA and be welcome. And be welcome because they are from the lineage of a Nibanian. Right. So I want that one NIMBA agenda. I want folks to believe that NIMBA County is the very common denominator. Whatever we are fighting for today, it is because of NIMBA. The $250,000 project that we are implementing in NIMBA today, it is because of Nibanians. So we need to have that one NIMBY agenda for us to succeed. And that's the goal.
Thank you, Gian. You still there? I was about to take over.
Yeah, you can jump in there, CEO.
Yeah. Okay. Why
I
you
think
there? Yeah.
I think they maybe the guest network is giving problem because
No,
it
it's from
keeps sticking.
you. Oh. It's from you. Oh.
Oh,
I can hear.
okay.
Yeah, the guys and myself we're having our regular conversation.
Our current can go here.
Our current can go here. So this is the heat hour. We talk politics, we talk everything here. We'll do all that stuff. But before we get to that point, I want to ask you. You are one of those young people, not because you're on the show or not because you're my brother, but you're one of the young people that I think other young people should aspire to be. Someone who has passion for giving back professionally, family, community service and all that stuff. And I admire you from afar from that. With the work that you're doing in Liberia, what you guys are doing in Liberia, and I also, as you know, I do a lot of work there too. What would you say is the most, let's say, the urgent, the most dire need when it comes to giving back, when it comes to community service job, when it comes to anything apart from politics? What would be the major thing that we as leaders both in the diaspora and Liberia need to focus on more when it comes to youth empowerment, giving back to our community, something that we need to press on more now?
Thank you, CEO. I believe that I always say this when I go back on the drawing board and trying to strategize on what we need to give back, what we need to do to give back to the community, and how we can all give back to the community. I believe that tapping into the knowledge of the next generation of leaders, especially the young folks who are coming up, right? Patriotism matters more to me than just folks who, I see folks on social media all the time. They wake up every day, they are serving in government, holding strategic position in the government, right? And they wake up every day and their only job description is to post the vice president and the president and sing praise and worship to them every day. CEO, I want productivity. I want folks who can deliver, because the vice president or the president, they are going to be proud of your work, because you are serving the community and you are delivering to the community, because your work will speak in the community. Not because you're posting a VP, therefore you are working. No, your work should speak for itself. And that is called, that is something called bluffing in the midst of poverty. Because the Irish people that you serve every day, they are struggling. These folks are struggling. They cannot even make ends meet, right? You are serving as a minister for agriculture, but you are not actually doing the basic necessities to bring competition among counties. To see, even every year, let's say, for example, can all these counties have a competition, right? Nimba County, you are well known for producing cassava and then making GB. How much cassava can you produce that could potentially turn into maybe other stuff? Or maybe Grand Bassa County, you can do all the other stuff. Can we have a competition? The most county that will do a produce, maybe the government can reward them for their services so that we can tap more into agriculture. And when it comes to education, one of the things that I'm telling you, CEO, is that majority of the things that are happening, our failures today, is lack of education. Folks we are not putting a lot of resources into the upcoming generation, right? Today, there was a $1 billion budget that the government is somehow kind of harassing with. And I saw that they were at a cabinet meeting today, and all of them agree that, you know what, we are going to implement the $1.5 billion. But guess what was their first common denominator? That we are going to invest into hiring. So if you put almost 90% of the resources into just salary and expenditure, what happens to education? What happens to agriculture? What happened to basic necessities? There are kids in places that can't play, who barely even have like a playground for them to play. there is no safe drinking water. But there are folks who are in Monrovia and they are getting all these fat salaries. But the people back home are getting the bare minimum. That is not investing into resources. And I believe that investing into human capitals matters to me more than just people taking fat salaries home or just employing people who are not delivering. And their only job description is wake up in the morning and post the vice president and post the president and sing praise and worship to them. Because I know that the VP is doing an excellent job. He's not looking for praise and worship. Do your job and represent the Liberian people. And that's all we are asking. So investing into capital matters more to me than just being nonchalant, just walking around and acting like wearing a coat suit. And then you feel like you are actually contributing to society. You are not. You are selling the Liberian people short.
Yeah, great point. You know, that's why I'm really excited about this conversation. It's more of like one-on-one with the CEO, you know, one-on-one. George Fomo, his brother Alvin Sekar on their one-on-one BKS TV. But you made a great point. I think our past leadership and the current leadership, they are all letting our future generation down. You talked about education, you know, investing more into education. People, unfortunately, some people in our community in Liberia think when they say education, it's all about, you know, getting a degree in political science and stuff like that. I went to Liberia one time with one guy that I used to work with. This guy was a multi-millionaire. And this guy was just a high school graduate, right? And he was a big director at Capital Group back then, right? He's retired now. So when he and I went to Butuo, we were working on some things, talking about giving tuition assistance to students at Nima Community College. The list of students that came, their majors, I mean, all political science, this and that. And he called me, he said, Alvin, I've noticed something. I mean, you guys lack technical education here. Most people are not focusing on that. So in short, most people in Liberia tend to overlook the importance of technical vocational education in Liberia. And I think our government also is also, you know, helping when it comes to that. They're not investing a lot of money into technical education or vocational schools. Human capital, like you talk about investing into it with the whole budget thing. I personally think, and you can add to that, I think our country, our leadership need to really, really focus more on the type of education that our students are getting. You know, nothing wrong with having your bachelor's degree in political science or anything, but there has to be more emphasis or some emphasis placed on technical and vocational education. What do you say about that? What's your say on that?
Yeah, CEO, I was deep in grade the other time. I was there meeting with students from different diverse backgrounds. And I went to Complay and met with kids from Complay. And when I was in grade, when I was getting ready to hear from grade, because I slept in grade. So when I was getting ready to head from grade to Zwatur, there were two students who came to me, two beautiful kids, girls. They came to me and they said that, Uncle, the only thing I want you for you to do for me, can you just buy me a shoes because I want to wear shoes to go to school. Tonight, I borrowed my mom's shoes, and I know when I get home, she's gonna beat me for it because I refuse to wear the dirty shoes that I have. Mm-hmm. These are kids who really want to learn. These are kids who they're just looking for the bare minimum to get by, right? They are not looking for millions of dollars for them to achieve their own potential. They are just looking for the basic necessities. If we want to invest into quality education, vocational institution, and that is one thing that the Unico family in the diaspora, the entire Nimbanians in the diaspora, they are doing. Now, let us invest into vocational institution. The Women Empowerment Center, the 250,000 Women Empowerment Center that is currently ongoing in Domapa, today is going to host folks from diverse backgrounds. Whether you are going to be doing tailoring, whether you are going to be doing just basic necessities, right? that home, that Unico village will host you. That village will host you. And that village will give you the opportunity for you to achieve your maximum potential. And that's what we are doing. And in folks who are contributing towards that building, some of these folks are retired here in America. They are getting the bare minimum from Social Security. They are just contributing, making all the sacrifices for them to get, for that women empowerment to get to where it is today. Because they also wants to give back. You don't have to be in power or position to give back to the community.
Right.
You can still be an humanitarian and still give back to the community. And that is one thing that folks kind of, not really take into consideration, because even those who in the diaspora, if I go back home tonight, CEO, because George is home tonight, and George is the president director of Unico, the first thing that will come to the minds of the ordinary people back home would be, George wants to run for power or position.
I get that every time. I get that all the time.
All the time. George wants to run for office. George wants to do that. But they will not also understand that George is an employer. George is actually employing people here in the diaspora. George is doing this. George is doing that. Right? Because we just believe that we want to give back. When the vice president was here the other time, I had a conversation with the VP and told the VP clearly. And the VP promised that he was going to do something for the Women in Empowerment Center. And I know that when folks travel or leave the US or the diaspora, sometimes the agenda gets full. But I admire the VP so much because he's a guy that is, he's a big brother to me that is so down to earth. When I met him in Philadelphia, we had a one-on-one conversation, very respectful person that I was not expecting the kind of, reception that I got from him. All his lieutenants that were behind, they were all respectful. And I believe that if the diaspora citizens are doing something out of their pocket from the diaspora, from the US, and some of them, their paycheck going towards this project, the least thing that we also expect from county administration is to make us part of the decision-making process. It is just something so little to ask for.
Thank you. Welcome to the platform as usual, Cyrus. Today we are hosting my brother George. I think you read about him there. I have been having discussion with him when it comes to the humanitarian part. So you guys are the politicians, and I'm glad that you're here now, because as time goes by, we'll switch towards Nema County and then ask. In fact, I will just start from there before we go to Cyrus here. George, I know things have been going, on in Liberia, in Nema County. You're my brother. I follow your post. You have a stand on most of those things that have been going on when it comes to leadership, when it comes to the little disagreement between the senators and the senator Honorable Koga and the VP. You have this relationship with the VP you just described here. What would be your assessment? I mean, in maybe one or two sentences, what would be your assessment of the VP since he took over, since PYJ passed, Nema County as it stands now, comparing that to Nema County that you knew before, the future of Nema County when it comes to the political movement, how you think Nema stands now? Do you think we still have the same Nema? We have a stronger Nema now than before, or we have more challenges than before? What's your take on that? What's your say on that?
Thank you, CEO. I believe that Nema is strong more than ever before. And I do believe that in every era, like generations, we have our own shortcomings, right? And I still believe that no matter how much we disagree with one another, like I told you about the VP, a very humble person, a very humble servant, very down-to-earth person. And Honorable Samuel Koga, people are underestimating, the Honorable Samuel Koga. I have dined with him in the same bowl. I met Honorable Koga in Minnesota, and I had a conversation with him. Very down-to-earth person. So the two people, they are just so unique, very, very unique. And I believe that, like I told you earlier, CEO, when the ball bounced, we were gathered in the cycle. And everything that is going on right now is going to always happen. But the one NIMBA agenda is our goal. And I believe that the VP will bring everybody on the table for discussion. And I still believe that. And I'm still in conversation with the VP's office. There are folks in the VP office that I still communicate with, and just give them some, some pointers that, we have to do this, we have to do that. You don't have to implement my pointers, but I do believe that for NIMBA to be successful, we cannot be divided. For NIMBA to be successful, we need to be united, because we are the only county that better produce any presidential candidate. Right?
Yeah.
Even though we have the resources, we have the manpower, but we are still struggling. So at the end of the day, I believe 100%, CEO, that we need to have the one NIMBA agenda. And this is my personal view. And I will give that disclaimer tonight. It's not UNICO's view, even though I'm the project director of UNICO. It's not UNICO's view. This is my personal view as Nimbanian. I can tell you that the VP, he's doing a great job, but he will have to do more to bring other folks on board. Look at my own big sister, Ida Gonglowe. It is time that the VP try to clean his backyard to bring these people on board. Honorable Koga could be a little bit disappointed tonight, or maybe the last few weeks he might be disappointed. But I believe that he still means well for NIMBA County. We can't kick these people out. Look at Chairman Belete, Musa Belete. I believe that Musa Belete is one of the most industrious citizens of NIMBA County with all his development. I have been to Seclepied. I have seen, in fact, Musa Belete was one of the few representatives who stood with us when we went to Seclepied. He and Samia Koga, they were with us throughout the night when we took UNICO march for homecoming. Musa Belete and, in fact, Chairman Musa Belete and Honorable Samia Koga were the only representative that night with us. So I believe that all of them mean well for the organization, for NIMBA County. But we just have to come together and have a conversation so that we cannot be talking over one another.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I have more questions for you. I will pause here for now. And then Cyrus, if you have your two questions, you can ask our brother, our guest. If not, you can make your statement and then we'll continue.
Yeah, thank you, CEO. Good evening to Mr. George Flomo, good evening to Comrade Junior, as well as you, CEO, and everyone following the show. I listened to the senior brother. I don't have question at the moment, but I just want to make a brief statement. CEO, this thing about politics, like I said the other time, I have made a definitive decision to stay back from politics, even though when we are on the show, when political questions are raised, we will respond, we will give our contribution and all of that. But the way we were involved, I could make political posts almost every day and things. The real thing about myself, I will contest in the future, but at this point to be supporting people, to be combative as I used to be, fight for people and all of that. I'm trying to work on some of these things to focus on my career, to think about bigger opportunity. Mind you, the game is not the way people see it. There are people who overlook politics. They don't take things personal. They don't, when you disagree with them, they don't hold that against you. but the county we come from is such a different county. Trust me, you can you can have PhD. If you go to Nimba to get job in Liberia, you must align with somebody. You must join a political process, for people to use you from radio station to another. And if you don't do that, you will not have the chance to serve. So as I sit here, I'm thinking about how to make life, how to restart, how to begin life in a different form, to be a vibrant young person that will contribute to society through different means instead of politics. And I even plan not to make comment on any political related stuff, but Koga is still involved. And as long as Koga is involved, then we will still be around, even though for me, I don't think I'll be posting political thing on my page again, but as long as Koga, the thing about him, people don't understand. Nimba is a county that has mixed tribes, and Koga's contribution in Nimba, a personal contribution. Most of the time, you hear people talking about money. He doesn't have money, this and that. Koga is not rich because Koga is good. Koga is the only politician from Nimba who is really honest about helping young people. If Koga wants to help, he does not wait for election. That electioneering hell, when elections are around, you see politicians, flowing here and there, giving young people sense and things. That's the unique thing about Koga that I know. So for me personally, in as much as I'm not too interested anymore, I feel indebted to him, and when people attack him, it hurts me. And the big brother said, Nimba needs to come together, and the person who will champion the cause is the vice president. He has the honors to champion the cause to bring our people together. The same question he asked about Edith, I'm so concerned about the madam. And the sickening part of our politics in Nimba is people keep reminding leaders about negative things that happened in the past. People keep creating that scenario. They keep making Kun to think that he and Edith are actually fighting. For how long would they continue to fight this innocent woman? After election, I had thought they were even going to engage the president and say, Mr. President, this woman is educated. She has the credential. She's qualified to serve. Why can't they go to even lobby in her accent to say, oh, big sister, we want to send you somewhere as minister? You think she will reject that? She will say, oh, I will oppose you, I will reject it. She will not. But the guys around the VP, they keep, echoing, re-echoing that bitterness. This other person is against you. This other person, no matter what you do on earth, this person will not want to support you. The toxicity in Nimba now, where people don't speak to each other, that's the root. That's the root. People will call to the VP and say, Garrison Yellow hates you. Samuel Koga wants to undermine you, and they go on Facebook. I mean, most of you can see Wugbe and other guys post. Wugbe is supposed to even be attacking people that Koga on Facebook, but you see them doing these things. And the hypocrisy is that when people insult Koga, people who support Kun, they call them intellectuals. Once you are very disgruntled, you are rude to Koga and other opposition guys, they call them intellectuals. They say, oh, that guy is intellectual, that guy can write. But if people try to do the same thing to the VP, then you are enemy to Nimba. That's where we are. And it's discouraging. But big brother Josh, I don't know you. It's an opportunity to interact with you tonight. Uninco is doing well for Nimba. Uninco is actually, improving the living standard of our people. Uninco contribution towards Nimba will never go unnoticed. But I think when Uninco is having program, I think it will be better for people like you to begin to advocate instead of just sending for elected people in elected positions or people who have governmental position, I think you need to sometimes reach out to the student community. Those of us who are honestly, striving to get there, at least you can see how best you can open opportunity for us to sometimes you attend some of the programs, the unique programs. I think if that opportunity is created, it will give our opener to most of the young people in Nimba. UNICO is actually doing well for our country, and we wholeheartedly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's the beauty of BKS TV. We connect people. Sometimes we settle disputes on here between the Malians, folks who have some issues. We settle issues between them here and stuff like that. So yeah, George, as we were saying, empowerment of young people. This young man is saying exactly what you and I were just talking about. So I will let you speak to that. But also, before you speak to that, I have questions for you. Talking about one NEMA agenda and the future of NEMA. I mean, there's no way we can turn blind eye on what's happening now. It's real issue. You even pointed something out about Madame Gonglo way, and then you have top stakeholders in my country that are not happy. I can list the name, Honorable Yonkwe, Garrison, Wardier, Sultan Titus. The list goes on and on and on. These are major stakeholders when it comes to Nima County. You can't rule them out. All these people are not happy with what's going on now. As you said, the VP, great person, he's doing his work. But I think as a leader, the responsibility falls on you. In leadership, as you know, you're a project director, and something's happening with your project over there, they're not going to go to the president and say, oh, what happened? They will go through you first. Say, Mr. Project Director, what happened to the fund that we sent here? What happened here? And you as a leader, it's your responsibility to make sure and put things together. The county is noisy. Nema County is noisy. And if it continues that way for too long, the damage might be too much and it will be very hard to repair before 2029. I still believe in one NEMA. I still believe we'll come together, but it's getting to the point where it's looking ugly. They had their GB rally not too long ago, and we saw the turnout. We saw what happened. There are other. We broke the news. We talked about it. We covered it, and I personally, when I came on here, I was critical. I kept saying that the attendance spoke volume. And then from there, we have people that came on here who are unity partisan, like Prentice and other guys who came and buttressed that and said, people were protesting silently. I think the VP and other leaders, Senator Twain, Senator Koga, and everyone else have to do something to come together. And the onus is on the VP to bring those people together now, sooner or later. And if not, including honorability, it might not be too good for us as time come along.
Yeah, that is so true, CEO. But one thing I will also say is we are not really immune to mistakes. Mm-hmm. There has been time in our histories where we have been gravely divided, but by the end of the day, we always come together as one Nimbalan. Mm-hmm. Right? And I strongly believe that before 2029, we will have a consensus. And one thing that, I will pray for is that no matter how much we disagree with one another, mm-hmm. how much we criticize one another, we should always do it with the level of respect that we have for one another. And the VP, people are currently shifting most of these things on the VP. But I still believe that the VP is a very decent man. And I still believe that before 2029, we will come together. In fact, I just had a conversation with my big sister, Ide, just this weekend. We had a very good conversation. In fact, she called me all the time for, just for other stuff. Right? And I still believe that she has nothing against anybody in Nimba County. The only thing she's looking for, that recognition, that people call her to do stuff. That is the only thing that she's looking for. and she's a very decent person. Look at folks like Koga. Koga is not somebody that can easily bang backward. So people like them, when you are dealing with them, you gotta be nurturing to bring them on board, right? So I believe that Nimba County, we are at a very crossroad right now, with not having Prince Johnson, the late Senator Johnson. I believe that we are at a point that we need to take a break and have a recess and believe, and then come back together and believe that the only thing we have in common is our county. Because take, for example, CEO, one of the reasons why our resources have been depleted today and we are not really benefiting substantially is because we are not united. It's because we are not united. From the time Asala Matar took over, you can believe that they literally brought in over $2 billion into their own revenue. 1.2 billion. Guess what? Nimba County benefited from that 1.2 billion. In fact, Liberia as a whole, because they were giving Nimba chicken change. In fact, the previous administration was actually owing Nimbanians some of these investment stuff. So Liberia actually got about out of that 1 billion dollar, we were only able to average about 1.38 million. Just imagine how we are selling the county short, because we don't want to speak with one voice. So I believe for us to be successful, I'm coming from a place where these mining areas are happening. Tokate, my grandfathers are from Makento. Tokate is literally right over Makento. Sege is right over Makento. Just right over that places is where most of the money stuff happening. But guess what is happening today, CEO? Because we believe that everybody knows so much and we don't want to come together as a team, these people are taking advantage of our resources. So I believe that the VP should have a moment of reflection, as well as all of us should have a moment of reflection. What is our common denominator? What do we fight for? What are we fighting for? Because if our forefathers were so selfish, they were giving that money to the Guineans, all these resources to folks who comes from Guinea. But our forefathers believe that these resources, these natural resources, will eventually benefit other people. So that's why they fought for it so long. So I believe that today, our generation should believe that we should come together and fight for the common denominator, which is Nimba County. No matter how much we disagree, no matter how much we insult each other, but we should know that we are fighting for a common good, and that is Nimba.
Thank you. And Cyrus, I'm going to come to you here shortly when it comes to, we will talk about the code of conduct and the president new release about, government worker not going. But anyway, George, I got a question for you. For me, I come from a school of thought where, you are a leader. We respect you. I respect you. I admire your leadership and everything, but I still have to hold you accountable, ask you tough questions. And that's how changes come into play. We elected them, our people, the old lady that in, Second Power, wherever, or the other affected communities over there, they send us to school, to go to school, to learn and be able to fight for them. Our fathers, our forefathers, all those people did the same thing. We elected those people. They are our leaders. They owe us. They owe those people to be able to hold all those other guys accountable. I have tried to stay away from the whole advocacy when it comes to what Senator Twine, has been doing. I've tried reaching out to him a couple of times to appear here, but he has not done so. But our fair share is not being given to us because our leaders are not advocating for us from a good faith background. The Asala thing you talked about, there's so many things, so many dark hands, so many things in there that they are not saying. They're not coming. The MDA, they said he was pushing for it, that it was not going to be signed. Every one of us admire him. I was one of the biggest supporters. I always honor under his post, commenting and stuff like that. He has gone quiet. He has gone quiet. The MD has not been signed. $200 million within the budget. So one sign-on bonus that comes from Salamenta is within that proposed budget. And then the budget is now in the Senate. They're talking about it, doing all that one. But no one knows where the MD is. No one knows if the MD has been signed or not. So I think our leaders are not doing our people any good. We also have to hold them accountable. And when I come on the show, I always try to balance it, but I think our leaders have not been doing the right thing in terms of speaking up for. They all have their own agenda. So while we all believe in NIMA, while we all hail NIMA as our common denominator, all those things can happen at the same time. They are not mutually exclusive. We can admire our leaders, we praise them, they say they do all the good things, we say yes to that, but we can also be on the side and say to them, these things are not right. These things, and that's the problem we have in our country. The people you are, were referring to, some people will see the wrong thing and they will not say it. They will not come and say it. You have to say the right thing to your leaders. And I've noticed that most people don't like that. Take, for example, right, Georgie, this guy, I don't know how to say his name. I think his name of faith was Manja Abdullahi Kiatamba, right? He made a post just recently where he stated that they conducted a survey, a private, survey in 5 counties across the country. And from what they gather, people are not happy with the government, the way things are going now. And if the bread and butter issues are not addressed immediately, 2026, people will start to, voice up their dissatisfaction, and we can see it now. So I still think that, the VP, our leadership, the senators, all those people have to start doing things to be able to look after the people. Right after election in Liberia or Georgia, people forget about the people that they elected, elected them. They start thinking about the next election. Right now, when you go in Liberia, you talk to they're all talking about 2029. 2029, whenever you say we got to do them on 2029, still far. Doing all those things, building, raising funds for party headquarters across the country and all that, forgetting about the people that voted for them when it comes to the bread and butter issue. I still think they have more to do. If not, it's going to be something where people may not be happy come the 2029 you're talking about. I'll let you speak to that before I go to Cyrus, because I have questions about the code of conduct thing that we discussed yesterday with Honorable Yilu, and then the president spoke about that today.
Yeah, thanks, CEO. One of the things that you mentioned was the issue of our Senator Yang Twain elevating the idea of the correct concession or whatever that is happening, or how we are holding leaders accountable. And I believe when you go back to history in the Senate, I believe that Senator Yang Twain has been the only person who has read the concession agreement. Since Salamenta already signed the concession agreement, Yang Twain has been the only senator in that Senate who has really gone thoroughly into that agreement to really see where they are selling us short, where Salameta has been selling us short. And he has been the only person who has been elevating some of this stuff, right? Or do we still have more to do? Absolutely, yes. We still have, because we still have folks in Yikepa that are still sleeping in containers. There is no safe drinking water, even in my own village, Makinto. There is no safe drinking water for them, right? There is no safe drinking water for the people of Seged. So we still have more to hold these folks accountable of. When you talk about folks not happy in this current economy, brother, I can tell you that even my daughter in San Nicolas is not happy. My daughter is not happy. Folks are struggling. Folks are struggling every day to make ends meet. Right? Because if you have ministers, directors, and folks who feel like they are the privileged few who are entitled to opportunities, that is dangerous to our economy.
Right.
Because to invest into the economy, you have to invest into the Irish Liberians. Because your benefit will have to be shown through the life of your constituents. I see people dividing back of rice during election time, or giving them a bundle or zinc, or giving them bites. These are temporary stuff. We are talking about long-term goal. If you have a plan in your within your district, your constituents should have like a long-term goal. What can you do for them in the next 5 or 10 years? I'm an employer. Before the year ends, I should come up with a specific proposal for the next 5 or 10 years, right? What I need to achieve, what my team will have to achieve, what my business will have to achieve, right, in the next 10 or 5 years. So these are some of the strategies that I believe that as a director, you don't have to wait for the VP or the president to say, this is what we're going to be doing in 2026. In your place, you should bring up an idea to your maybe minister. Say, you know what? This is the kind of proposal I'm going to bring on the table for discussion, so that proposal will benefit your people. You have, and then one of the things, CEO, that I believe, and this is not in disrespect to elected officials of Liberia, I believe that we are selling each other short.
Right.
Because when it comes to legislation, a legislator is not somebody who will be elected based on empathy. Right? You should be electing somebody with the knowledge, the experience, and that's why most of them end up being more of giving than actually drafting legislation. Because they believe that the only thing that they can give back to their constituents is to give them a few back of rice. Then they have done so much. Right? But if we have folks who actually go back and read the Constitution and define their roles and responsibility on what the legislation is, I believe that their constituents will even benefit from them in their argument into the House of Representatives and into the House of Senate than giving them back a rights. Because whatever that you draft will eventually be passed into law. And these things will benefit your constituents in the long run. And that is something that I believe that they should be shifting their focus on. But because they believe that the only way they can get the voters is to give them back a rights, and that's why our county or our community is very undeveloped, because they believe that they will give them food, and in the next election they will vote for them because it's a short-term goal, but not really a long-term goal. So I'm just praying that when these things are happening, and one of the things that, because Unico, for us, we will believe that, you know what, let's go to Saclapia today. Let's go give them 100 back of rice, right? Or let's go to Loguatu and go give them some 100 back of rice. They will eat that food and forget that we just give them food. But if we build the Women Empowerment Center, where that place is eventually going to be, in fact, will become like a hub for education, for basic necessities, that place will empower a lot of other generations to come tomorrow. And that's what we need to do, empower the locals so that they can fish for themselves. Instead of us giving them fish, let them go and fish for themselves.
Thank you. And I think Unico, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe this may be outside of your purview there. Unico has some statement about the deal, the MDA, the settlement deal. And I think the president has a stand. I would love to hear that take and hear you guys' official take on the whole deal there. But I still think, Senator Twine is going to sign. He's going to fall for it. He's going to eventually sign whatever is in there, because remember now he's a UP guy, and we don't even know where the MD is. But now it's part of the budget that they have something there, and we don't know where it's at. So I think he's going to fall for it. He's going to sign it at the end of the day. That's why he's no longer speaking.
CEO, when it comes to that whole MDA stuff, for Nima County to be benefiting from the Social Development Fund, the County Development Fund, it was through the instrumentality of UNICO in the diaspora.
Right. Yeah.
It was through the instrumentality of UNICO in the diaspora, because we had a whole Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to the fire. We had to to the fire that Nigerians deserve better. In fact, she sent delegates from Liberia to go to New York to meet with UNICO delegates so that they can negotiate on the social and county development funds. And that's why when they are making these decisions without in consultation with the diaspora Nigerians, I feel like they are only doing that. Some of them are doing that, not all of them. Some of them are doing that because they feel intimidated by the presence of the newcomers, or folks who just want to give all the knowledge that this is what I believe we deserve. But UNICO as a whole, I believe that UNICO is a very vibrant institution here in the diaspora, because we have had a lot of leaders, former leaders accountable. And we have done that before, and we continue to do that. In fact, Prince Johnson, this late Senator Johnson's funeral, UNICO made one of the biggest contribution. Yeah. Okay, so if you only identify us, or you only gravitate towards us in moments of maybe your shortcomings, and not in moments where we demand decision, because UNICO should also have a representation on the county settings.
Yeah. So I think there's just so much things that are not done there, right? But yeah, Cyrus, real quick there, Cyrus. We had this conversation I think 2 days now in a row, when they had their GB rally, and then when Honorable Yelu came yesterday about the code of conduct, where you even raised the point that they were violating the code of conduct. Today, there was this release out there where UP is now, warning all government officials, telling them to not use government property, government vehicle, and stuff like that to go for the December 6th rally. You think it's because of the noise, or the checkpoint, or the alarm that has been blown in the media that made them to do that, or you think it was something that they had planned before? And then George, I will come to you on that too.
Thank you, CEO. So, based on the experience of the president, his supposed experience, during the election, we could always hear that the president is so experienced, and that placed him in an advantageous position over George Weah. People say he's experienced. I thought we should not even be talking about Unity Party issuing statement that they should not go there with government vehicles. It is used to them. They have been doing that. You know why they did that? Mm-hmm. They did that to have sentiment from the public that, whoever is going to use government property to attend that program, they will say, but the government send a caveat, and if somebody's in violation, and who will carry that person to court? That's the whole thing. You remember, I think 3 months ago, the ombudsman that was set up because the code of conduct, there is no code for it. So the ombudsman is like the quasi-judicial body. Mm-hmm. When people are in violation, where they can be called to order. But then, I think 3 months ago, the ombudsman published about 50 of them who are in violation for failing to declare their assets, and people who still hold on political positions. Mo Ali, Amos Tuer, the big guys in the UP. So they sent a list to the president. Have you ever heard something about it as an outcome? You will not hear anything such. Big brother, UNICO, it's good to have our UNICO big brother on the show tonight. There's an adage I say, he who feeds controls. He who feeds you controls you. UNICO is feeding NIMBA, and UNICO should not be excluded from decisions that affect NIMBA. Mm-hmm. UNICO if I have the opportunity to attend one of their programs one of these days, I will make a recommendation to the leadership for UNICO to train people, to train young people, independent young people who will create awarenesses across the entire districts in Limba to ensure that the voter change their voting pattern and to change their mindset. You know how the Limbans vote? As somebody think he just listed bag of rice, motorbike, paying people hospital bill, just all sort of things that don't matter. So because of those, you can be so compelled to elect somebody who you even know within yourself he or she is not qualified. With no disrespect to any of our lawmakers, the legislature is supposed to be for prepared people, people who are academically schooled, people who understand the workings of the legislature. But today, there are people that just go to Nimba. If he goes to Nimba, even if he has PhD, and if he presents himself like a policy-driven person who is principle-minded and he refuses to give handouts, people will say that man, I want a book man in a place that will not vote for that kind of man. He's selfish. He's this.
Amen.
That's a pattern in the country. So now people bar their way. People who are not even supposed to be near the legislature, they bar their way. Like the last time when we were grading law, because I think you were here when I said St. Brown should not be in the legislature. St. Brown does not deserve being there. The lawmaker of District Number 8, Honorable C. Miana, should not be around there. A lot of them from Nimba. You know, do you know that Nimba is one of the counties that always in the business of electing people who are not qualified to serve? Oh yes. And if UNICO steps in by creating awareness through, young people, to even the media should get involved. The media should get involved to educate our people far ahead of election. 2029 is coming. Mind you, in my district today, the guys I know that campaign, they starting or whatever they call it, I think they distributed about 17 motorbikes. Those gentlemen who received those bikes, trust me, they are just clear vote. That's how the thing looks. A clear vote. They didn't get time for the lawmakers distributing by whether or not this man is corrupt, whether or not this man is not even delivering, they will not do. The Unity Party thing you asked about, they started this government from the very inception. They started violating all of the laws in the country, and I believe they will end that way. They will end it like that. Probably you don't want to get the MCC school card. The code of conduct that the president is saying people should not do this now today, the very code of conduct, section 10, 2 of that same code of conduct say before the president, the vice president, and even appointed officials take office, they must declare their assets. Before the code of conduct didn't say you should be in position before you declare. But what did the president do? The president was president for 3 months until he declared 3 months later. So the president was not set. So everybody, as we speak, most of them have not even declared their assets. So you respect the president who is not even respecting the very statutory law. You respect his official to respect the same law. That's a problem. The Constitution, the Code of Conduct enumerates too many things about political activities, but people focus only on campaign.
Yeah.
They are focused only on campaign, and they will come and justify the Code of Conduct talk about campaign. No, the Code of Conduct said, one of the clauses said you should not, as an official of government, you should not hold active position in a political party. Amos Tuah is still the SG for Unity Party. That's one of the clauses. Another clause says you should not even wear political regalia. But today you listen to the president when he said they should not go there with government vehicles and all of that. But again, that's a saying that people use in the country, they say like bread will not burn. Like bread will not burn. And to the people raised about Honorable Nyan Twanye. Chamber, let me remind you, apparently you did not follow, but Nyan is not advocating because he is doing it for Nimba. He's not doing it for Nimba. He's not preaching against mental at this stage because he loves our people, because he loves the affected community. No. Nyan is doing that smartly just to entice our people to take advantage of our desperate masses. You know what? I will send tomorrow. I will send a CEO a clip of Nyan, the same Nyan Twanye, when Nyan in 2015 when the Zolowi and other affected communities, young people from there gathered, they protested against that highway, so Mita cannot make any travel. You know who Unity Party used against our people, and he called their names. Nimba people are hooligans. The buyers are not civilized. They don't know how to approach things. All of the conditions that led the young people to protesting, for which Yang criticized, all of the conditions still exist today. Oh yes, Yang is on tape. I have a record. It's on YouTube. Yang is on tape. He insulted our people. He didn't only blast. He insulted our people. He called their names only because the people went and protested in their own defense.
Thank you.
Thank you. But all the conditions remain the same. So all of a sudden you see the same Yang, because now he's saying the Senate, and he has tested what power is, and he wants to maintain it. Then he played that card to make it look like he's defending the people. But the same thing you just spoke against, and the conditions remain the same. Nothing has changed. The same meter we're talking about. So you need to play this role to educate the voters, to open their mind, to forget about the beggar rights things. Other than that, you will still be sending money to us in the African continent.
Thank you. And I want to welcome Dr. Fulule. I want more doctor than make it Dr. Fulule.
No, the one data is okay, CEO.
But welcome to the show. George is our guest tonight, so I know you coming on here to make a point on regarding the Yan thing there. But before we go to you, let's get to our guest and see what he got to say. If he has anything to add, I know he's been here for 1 hour and 41 minutes now, so we'll soon be taking leave of him.
Yeah, I would definitely send the bill to BKS TV tonight. So, but let's go to the point here, Cyrus. You nail a couple of good parts here, especially when it comes to when people have to speak, when the moments demand, and I believe that is where Yan is coming from. When that moments demands that we have to speak up, right? And even though Nyan may have said something in the past, but I believe that this is the moment that in the era of maybe electronic devices, people can read on their phone, people know exactly what is right. In fact, I have sent a couple of articles to Nyan. Nyan has posted these articles, or Senator Twine, for the sake of of his office. I have sent him a couple of articles. And he had gone through these articles, and he had responded to me, some of these articles. So I believe that he is genuine about his concerns for Nimbanians. Now, if he signs on the concession agreement that we believe it is not in the interest of the Nimba people, then we will have to come in. But I'm going to also speak that I'm not speaking for Unico tonight. I just want to be very clear on that. I'm not speaking for Unico, but as an Nimbadian. But I believe, Cyrus, if we all disagree, there are policies that sometimes we draft, right? There are policies that sometimes we believe that it is in the interest of our people. When you talk about Zolowi, I live in Zolowi. I spent almost half of my adult life in that place. Very nice place. They had a pipe-borne water. There was water coming from, they had their own pump, water supplying the city. I would call Zolowi a city, right? And there were folks, water was coming, a really nice water. But now, since that whole mining started to take place, their safe drinking water has gone completely yellow. They don't have a safe drinking water anymore, right? So if we are advocating for the, take for example, when you go to like deep into Macanto, there is no safe drinking water. So if these things, or Nyan was in Ikepa the other day, and he saw that the Irish Nibanian are actually sleeping in the continuum, and he's elevating this conversation, I believe that I will gravitate towards this conversation so that we can tap into it more, and folks can hear the side of our story that you have been selling us short, even though folks have swept these things under the rug, but it is now time for us to address it. And if he signs on the concession agreement that will be shortchanging us, we will have to hold him accountable. And I believe that he's on the book for it. And we will hold him accountable. As a Nibanian, I will hold me accountable because I have his personal conversation. In fact, telephone him on the speed dial. And I text him all the time and he responds to that. So I believe that Nyan, at this point, he means well for us. And we would disagree strongly. And I know that some of these things that has happened. I met with him in his hotel room in Minnesota. And we had a conversation. And he told me exactly what he stands for. And I will take him for that until he proves otherwise. Until then, I will continue to believe that it is now time to hold these concessionaires accountable for what they are doing to us, especially in Nima County. They are ripping the resources off. We are not benefiting from anything. Our kids are not in school in a decent education environment. You cannot just say you are building institution or building education, and you cannot give them conducive environment to learn. Look at Nima University. Up to now, they don't even have a decent bus for them to be busing their students to school, right? They don't even have a dormitory for kids to be staying at. The last time our Unico president, Samuel Webber-G, had to go to Sinclair University because he wanted to do the student exchange program, right? And the only thing that we got shut off was Nima University never had a dormitory because students from here wanted to go to Nima to stay there and then do some kind of share environment in that place. But the only thing we were lacking of was the dormitory. So these are things that I believe we should be discussing. These are things that I believe. Look at recreational activities. Unico is about to build another park in Complete. Park in Complete that will actually give recreational environment to the people within our area. So these are some of the things that I believe if Nibanians in the diaspora, because even there are folks in government, Cyrus, there are folks in government who came here. We received them with dignity and respect. And we gave them the environment that I believe that they deserve. And they promised to give basic support to the Women Empowerment Center or to build a basic park in places that like Campley or Tapeta. But now when we call them, some of them barely answer their phones. But we still have to engage them, knowing that we in the diaspora, we don't need anything from folks in Liberia, but we also want to give back, no matter what. Because even the folks today have been raising money for Nima County here in the diaspora. But for some of these folks who are paying this money are folks who are retired. Some of them are not even employed. They are giving the very last amount of dollars they have in their account because they believe that we all have to give back to the county. Back to you, CEO.
Thank you so much again. We booked you for 1 hour 10 minutes and we're going over, but I know you pay direct to now. You marry from Booyah, so the Booyah station here. You gotta pay direct.
All the Zole people direct can finish.
Welcome to the show, Chris and Dr. Fulula. I will have you ask your question or make your statement, and then from there I will have our guests give us his parting comment.
Yeah, thank you, CEO, for having me, and it is a privilege to once again be on the BKS TV. And I want to say,
I can see you on CMC now.
No, I will be popping in once in a while. Yeah, I want to welcome the most hardworking PD in the history of Unico right now, the Honorable George Flomo in studio today, Propani. I'm very excited. And Cyrus, I want to say, my man, hang in there. Don't run away from politics. Men as a whole, we are political beings. But I understand the pain that we all are feeling. When you want to see stuff happening in our county, the most powerful in Liberia right now, the county that make the decision, and when we elect our leaders to go and advocate on our behalf, they become dormant, they become followers. We the one people need to be following. Instead, we are the one following people. It becomes very frustrating, very very frustrating. I understand where you're coming from, but when you were talking about advocacy, I understand. Honorable Flomo, you saying that we should understand the timing and what have you. Yes, we understand the timing. I hold the thought of Cyrus on this issue as well. I don't think Nya is genuine, from my own analysis. I don't think Honorable Twain is genuinely advocating in the interest of the common Nibaians. I think he wants to gain a political relevance, and because 2029, everybody is talking about 2029. Today, if Nya is genuine, the budget is out. The draft of the budget is out there, and people are deliberating on the budget. Nya should be talking about, like the CEO make a very, make a very serious point about in our budget, signatures funds from ArcelorMittal from our county, $200 and some more million is in our budget. They're not questioning it. They're not talking to the people of Nimba, because our budget should reflect on the life of the people that sent them in the Capitol building to represent them. Nobody is talking about it. None of our lawmakers, our leaders from Nimba, Musa Berete, Honorable Berete is talking, later about some of those stuff that are going on. But I can't hear none of our leaders from Nimba in that building advocating on behalf of the people, everybody, especially in this 55th legislature. Young people, a lot of young people are from Nimba that in our building. They're not looking in the interest of their fellow young people. All of them dumber, all of them very quiet. They just following the lead. They just following the floor. Whatever comes, they say yes or to it. No question asked, nothing. It's frustrating. So I'm in the same boat Cyrus is setting in right now as a young man in the diaspora. And those leaders can come here. They can travel. They see the effect of leadership on the life of common people around the world. When they get back, they do same old business as usual. Then when time comes, they give peanuts to our people to vote for them. And CEO, I want to end on this note. You said something is a son that sing all the time. We go to school. Our parents said better ball. They taught heavy laws to various marketplaces. They sit under the rain in the sun to sell those better ball so that we can be the one. When that time comes, they don't have the strength to sell better ball again. We are the one now that are going to stand in that gap to take care of them when they don't have that strength, when that strength have gone. Today, those leaders or those so-called leaders will come and give us peanuts, and we are the one that can now go on the various media platform to advocate against the effort of our mothers, the effort of our fathers, and we advocate against ourselves and the future of our children. Because what they're doing, you're not hurting those lawmakers, you're not hurting those leaders, you're hurting our mothers who's selling better ball in the sun, who's selling better ball under the rain, who walking long distance, without having laws on their heads, no roads to travel on, crossing, risking their life crossing in boat and what have you, they hurting them. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you, Dad. You see that I think when you flip from our platform and go to CMC platform, and when you come for 2 minutes, you want to steal all our guest time. Yeah. So
right. CEO, let me just respond to the doctor real quick.
Oh, but you are the guest, sir. You're the guest. You got all the
right.
time.
That I really understand
let me
your concern.
Right,
and I know where you're coming from. But budgetary allocations and budgetary debate is not always happening on social media than what folks are yelling on social media. And most of the times when we talk about budget hearing, these things happen in the settings. And like I mentioned earlier, the first thing that came to the minds of the ruling party was that since the budget has been increased to over $1 billion, they should go hire more people. They were not thinking about human development. They were not thinking about investing toward the economy. They were not, thinking about building basic necessities, just a basic clinics for folks back in the interior. Because maybe my grandfather in the interior, who has been in the scene hot for over 30 years, better see electricity. They are not thinking about that. We have agriculture ministers, ministers who are all based in Maserado. But the first thing that came to their mind was we should hire more people and increase expenditure, which will have to do with salary and expense versus investing into human capital, right? These were my statement when it comes to that budget. But as an Ibanian, I believe that, or as a Liberian, I believe that if the budget has been increased to over $1.4 billion, I think that human development should be a key on the agenda. Agriculture should be key on the agenda. Education should be key on the agenda. But all of them, all the ministers that were in our cabinet meeting today, the first thing they were trying to do, how many people they can employ in that ministry. And some of these folks are not folks who are already qualified to hold strategic positions within the government to actually deliver for the people of Liberia. So, CEO, I believe we are all thinking the same way, just with different tone. Nyan Twine on the other side, he is somebody who is very letter. We cannot sweep him under the rug for his for being very educated. And I believe that he reads to the letter. And I believe that Nyan Twine will not sign on the budget, knowing full well that this budget will be selling his constituents short. And if he's going to do that, then we will have to hold Nyan Twine accountable going forward, because 2029 is not next year. 2026 is next year. We still have 2027 budget. And we will still have to hold him accountable that he compromised the office of the senior senator or the office of the Nibanian people who elected him to office. There is nothing in our budget that will benefit the people.
There's nothing about senior senator. Yeah, I'm going to go senior senator.
That is senior, my man, don't get disturbed here. That is senior senator thing that bringing those in the country. But yeah, George, you can hear me, right?
Yes, you are very live. CEO.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for this. I know we said 1 hour, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I don't know if you have 5 minutes of your time to squeeze in 2 minutes question from Chris and then Veteran Mafasin. If that's okay with you, then we can do that. If not, then we'll if you don't have the time, then we can let you go.
I'm totally fine. I will skip the gym tonight.
No, not gym, man. Come on, don't be that DQ. Sorry, GP.
La DK Trini.
But Chris, yeah, so welcome to the show, Vet Mafasin. I know it's been a long time. We missed you on here. Congratulations to all of us. Today, we hit the milestone. Today, we hit the 10,000 marker followers. Organic. Yeah, organic.
You gotta give me credit for that, though.
Okay, man. So all the people that have been coming on a birthday, Musa, you all the people that have been that you alone, man. But it's a great thing. I want to say thanks to our followers, thanks to our journalists, our team, the entire team from July to December, December 2nd to hit 10,000. I think that's a big deal to all of us. So congratulations to the team. So Chris, we'll give you 2 minutes of time to be able to ask your questions. If you don't have questions, then you can make a statement.
Okay, thank you, CEO. Let me say good evening to my dear big brother Joe Flomo. And let me say congratulations to us for reaching out 10,000 organic viewers. So congratulations to us. Not just a question, just so much statement I want to make. I listened to my dear big brother, he talked lengthily, but I just want to make this few statement. What people are referring to as senior senator is nowhere in our constitution. I think we need to start educating the public on it. There's nothing in the same constitution. I've done intensive research for yesterday. There's no part in the constitution that talks about senior senator. So we as young people, we need to start educating the public on it. And the next point is where Sarah talk about having each of the people in Nima. We know record when accident mental things happen in our country. Now news that give the Nima people, the records are out there. The reason of us, we don't want to talk about it now. People feel they want to fight Nya. Nya, but when I told that news that you don't find the fight people in Nima. I could remember Mabasi, the ownership was super Nima when nothing happened. If you can record that, now news, I don't find Eddie. So try to give the people in Nima. I see answer that mental issue where he came from. Where there's time. The effect of answer mental. And I think you're in government, you're in the party, and the youth here give the people in Nima. So they were young to kind of say African today bad for me. So that whole advocacy is doing is a beauty. Is that serious? Is that genius? We should look in the face of the leader tell the truth. When not Nyasa advocating for Nima, the records are out there. It's a product records. Send a 2 minute team with broadcast on a 2 minute team first. Have you ever heard Nyan talk about it? Have you ever heard Nyan talk about it? They were not talking about it. I heard Joe saying that advocating for border issue debate, it can't be on social media. But people don't. Say for me to them. And I will say we're free. What we have in demand now, they are press single. We mess a double dolo. Anybody know a double dolo during JSC Senate? The records are out there. I never supported a double dolo before. But if I want a critical individual we have for Nima, I could stay in the Senate to advocate when it comes to the budget issue. That's the budget. You saw Nyan talking about Nima cancer issue. You saw that's Nyan talking about the university Nima. You will never talk about it. Because after the mental issue, get political center or something now. When it's so unfortunate, it's so frustrating for our people in Nima. The Nyan that talked against all yesterday, when that zero-witty happened in Nima, they say Nyan to know I can't become injured today. But again, we know that, but I call them when the time approaches. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. The man wrote a long open letter to the VP today. We have it on our platform. The man is making his point about the whole senior senator debate. As to, I think he got some constitutional or something he said on there. We have time, George, take a look at it real quick. But yeah, what do you have to say to what your brother Chris just alluded to?
I believe that Chris is a very intelligent young brother that I've known over the years. And I also do believe that in Badians, we don't believe in power or trying to castigate one another, no matter what our positions are. Whether it is a senior senator or a junior senator, but what the was, I'm not going to sit there to define what a senior means or what a junior means to you, but I also do believe that the longest serving senator happens to be your senior. Just that somebody who is in the 12th grade and you are in the 11th grade, just to put it on the elementary level, right? So the person who served the longest in the specific institutions becomes your senior. However, it's not something that I believe that we should dive into, because these are things that will bring in resentment into our political discourse. So I don't think it's something super intellectual for us to be engaging ourselves in. And if this kind of conversation comes up, we as individuals that I believe that we should be educating folks. We should be at that position to educate them professionally and not to incite them. So I believe that the issue of the senior senator or junior senator is not something that should be debated on, because senior means you've been there longer than the other person. So it's just a common sense kind of stuff. But when it comes to Nyan sincerity on NIMBA or on policies, I'm not going to sit here to speak on who Nyan is, right? But I will speak on the basis of being a Nimbadian. What we are, we would disagree on policies or other stuff. Because I remember in the Zlowy stuff, there were folks who were actually burning down houses, or in fact burning down materials for the investors, right? In fact, my representative at the time, Prince Toba, was arrested by the Liberian National Police. So I know these stories, and I know what happened in Zlowy at the time, because I'm literally from Zlowy. But what we are saying here is, if there's a specific topic before us, and we are discussing that topic, if Nyan sell himself short in the discussion, we will hold you accountable for that. Because we are talking about 2026 budget. If Nyan put his signature on the budget that 90% of that budget goes towards salary and expenditure, and not towards education and human development, I will hold Nyan accountable. Because if the first thing that came from the mouth of these ministers and deputy ministers, all these cabinet ministers today, was that we will have to hire more people and then add them to the salary. If that is what made them to increase the budget to 1.5 billion and Nyan signs that budget, I will have to hold Nyan accountable, because we want to invest into education. That should be our primary goal. We want to invest into human capital. We want to invest into trade. Look at the PYJ Polytechnic University. Everybody are kind of riding on the auspices of PYJ today. But since his death, that environment has gone dead. Nothing has happened on it, because nobody is trying to advocate for that institution to be placed, or for folks who work in that institution to be on the Ministry of Education payroll. They are not doing this basic stuff. So if they cannot advocate for these basic necessities, let's take, for example, they continue to talk about the yellow machine that is coming. I had a conversation with even the VP or Chief of Office staff, or the last time they were in Pennsylvania. And I told him, I said, we are bringing in yellow machine in the country. And we are giving, maybe they said, 22 pieces to each county, if I'm right? Right? But in these counties, you don't even have a better facility to maintain this yellow machine. What will happen if these things break down? Maybe 5 machines breaks down in a single day. What will happen? How can you manage this yellow machine? We need to invest into human capital, especially trade. And that is something that I was advocating for. So if they can come together today and say, you know what, Nyan Twine will be advocating for the budget, maybe for the budget to be passed. If Nyan put his signature, in fact, I will always be texting Nyan. He's a very good communicator. I will talk to him that this budget, I have gone through budget lines. And what I have seen in this budget allocation is not in the interest of the Liberian people. And we should go back and revisit these budget lines to see what can actually be invested into the life of the ordinary Liberian. Because man took about all man took about that is in the market, they want electricity. They want, they want to freeze their food. They don't even have these basic necessities to take their produce. So these are some of the things that we should be advocating for, instead of us just putting people on payroll, because CDC did it. CDC literally junked the whole payroll system, brought in people who were not even qualified to hold strategic position in government. And then the government was paying them all this unnecessary money. And then we want to do the same thing with this current ruling party, when the women empowerment is sitting over there, when we can actually put more people into the women empowerment for them to educate them. And then that women empowerment become a hub for a lot of young women who will go in that building and learn a lot of just basic skills for them to be independent tomorrow. So that is my, that is my stuff, because I'm hoping that even though the people in the diaspora, the Nibadans in the diaspora, they are paying over $250,000 towards our women empowerment center to be built. The basic thing the government can do is put the administrator on the government payroll. If we are getting over $1.some million from concessions, why can't we just put these basic volunteers on the payroll so that center can be run professionally? So these are some of the agreement, in fact, some of the conversation that continue to happen behind the scenes, CEO.
Thank you so much. Great point. That sadly, the reason why, for me now, the reason why I guess they are putting more emphasis on hiring more people in the government is because the government is the largest employer in the country. So I guess that's the only way they see to provide more jobs, because people, or some of the partisans, are not happy. But welcome to the show, Vet Marfasin. I don't even know where to start with you, because we have so much. Yesterday should have been a good day for you here. You didn't come. But, we'll stay behind for the post-analysis. We have our brother, George Flomo, who's the guest on here tonight. I know you've been following briefly. If you have a question for him, you can ask. If you don't, you can make your statement. Then we'll take leave of him. And then from there, we'll stay, as we do all the time, for our post-analysis.
All right. Thank you, CEO. And let me say congrats to the BKS family for the level of achievement made in such a short period of time. I know it's been a difficult time, especially all of us busy. We have different issues that we are engaged with, but to take on the challenge and grow the platform to where it is, and as you said in your word, organic, 10,000 followers, I think it's a good move. But to some of us, the journey has just started. We have a long way to go in growing the platform beyond NIMA, beyond Liberia. I think we can do it. If others did it, we too can do it. No one is superhuman. We too can make it work. So I want to say thank you to you, first and foremost, to your family. It's one thing to harbor a dream, is yet another thing to take the dream to reality. We're seeing the level of vision becoming a reality, and at the fast speed for that matter, and it's something that I'm quite happy about. I really don't have a question, but I just want to make a little statement. And the first to begin with will be the issue of senior senator, junior senator. I listened to Chris, and I want to side with him, especially when you look at the foundation of a senior or junior. No matter your age in the Senate, a senator goes for 9 years. All senators make the same pay. All senators have the same responsibility. The senator, the jurisdictional responsibility is to a landmark of a county. So there's nothing like being in 12th grade, 11th grade. Being in 12th grade, 11th grade, you see the dichotomy. It's 11 and one is 12. So you see the difference. But after the war, when Liberia was getting to its post-war status as far as governance is concerned, then we have to, because it's by law, the Senate, which is the upper house, you don't have to enter the Senate during election year. A group of them, tenure would have expired, and a group of them, tenure would have started. And coming from war, our first, post-war election during the Manasarali era, there were hard decisions made. they look at the voting, the vote count or vote accumulated by senators. And the folks want to reduce the tenure from 9 years, which is constitutional, to 6 years because they wanted to strike that balance. So it was on this basis, Adolphus Dodo was there for a shorter time compared to Senator Johnson, because Senator Johnson acquired the highest number of votes. And because of that, Senator Adolphus Dodo had to go to election in the 2011 election, and Senator Johnson remains. Just so as to reach that constitutional balance as required by the Constitution. I think that was where the phrase the senior or junior, or the word senior or junior, came into play. But it's not a title that is unique to your level of stay in the Senate to be given to any individual senators. They're all senators, regardless of when you went there and who did not go there. They are all senators, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know. So we should refrain from titles and activities that will put us against each other. We have the biggest thing to protect, which is our country, which is our peace, and we've come a long way. So these things are things that we should be looking at. And that being said, the second thing will be Senator Twain's advocacy. No matter how one sees it, the fact remains, he's made his voice heard, and that's paramount. The reason for which we elected them is to speak on our behalf. Is his advocacy in the right direction? Yes. There are a lot of issues that he has touched that remains quite fundamental to the operations of MITER based on the MDA. So I think I don't have that stake to judge the sincerity of it. He just one senator. Legislative decisions are based on consensus, based on voting. There are a lot of things that can influence legislative decision. And no matter how loud you cry, you have to, first of all, develop that personality and influence to be able to influence your colleagues towards your direction. So it could be, you will stand for something, you will make all the argument for it, and the decision becomes contrary to what you stand for. That doesn't take away the sincerity of your advocacy. It's just because you did not have that influence enough to be able to influence decision towards what you want happen. And one of the things that we've always wanted to see, like somebody was talking about budget debate, one thing we've always wanted to see, and some of us have said that, our lawmakers should make the move for it, is when it comes to allotment of budget in the national budget to counties across Liberia. It's sad to note that Nima County carries the same budget as Bomi County or Bapolu County. With no disrespect to the people of Bapolu County, it's true that they have the status as a county as well as Nima, but development decision, budget decision cannot be done in the absence of populations. Well, you give Nima 250,000, you give Bapolu 250,000. You could put just 75,000 clinic or hospital in Bapolu, it can serve the entire population of Bapolu, and they will not have to look for other clinics to go. But you cannot do that with Nima based on the population. It will overwhelm that establishment and it will become a problem. So it's a disservice to the people of Nima when it comes to our share of the national cake, the cake that we contribute significantly to the preparation process. I'm not just talking about the vote, but when you look at economic activities across the county and how much we contribute to revenue generation in the country, is so, huge that NIMA will be judged as per county status, as you will judge Bapolu and Bomi County. I think our lawmakers should stand together or must come together to proper argument that will discuss some of these things. And the second thing is, we're talking about, the third thing will be, bloating government. And you just be proud to say government is the largest employer in the country, so we just have to be employing people. It takes away creativity, it takes away innovation, it takes away everything. Because it is government responsibility to create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
Right.
And when that happens, then the private sector becomes viable and very, very vibrant. Then employment window get expanded. But if you check Liberia, especially for the agriculture sector, you will find out that there are a lot of grants, free money coming to government for our partners, for agriculture support, for local farmers' capacity, financial capacity, academic capacity, whatever capacity you think about enhancement so as to make Liberia agriculture proficient. Interestingly, you will get to realize that only politicians and big shots in government are farmers that can access some of those resources. If you are an ordinary person, no, you can't have farm. Just on Georgia administration, look across Liberia, see the farmers. It is Amara Conan, it is Edwin Melvin Snow, it is this person, it is that person, the rest of it. Even in our own country, you will see striving young people who have the passion. Like I was following a YouTube video of a young farmer in Bond County. The boy is striving. Now he has cultivated up to about 15 acres because he got 6,000 cocoa trees. But a cocoa in the grass, no money. So efficiently managed that 6,000 trees to take him into, economic zone. So he's striving. And they have made multiples of videos. State actors are seeing it. But there the agricultural minister to think about a young child like that. No. You either go to either the vice president farm or either the president's farm in Bomi County or either Senator Snow farm. So, the wealth of the country has not trickled down to the ordinary people who are the voters. And that's sad.
Thank you.
You can look at the budget from 800 million to 1.2 billion, and you see that 80% of the budget is just on the people, on the leaders. So how can you then widen the scope and functions of the private sector to serve the populations? So the people will continue to be poor. Since I came to the West, all the jobs that I see people go to has not been government jobs.
No.
They have a vibrant private sector.
Yeah.
And it is the private sector that will lead the development of the country because it puts people on job and it gives people resource opportunity and they're able to self-develop and the country takes the glory because the countries have got to provide that enabling environment. So these are some of the things our actors must be able to argue. But again, it says government is the reflection of the people. Because all the things that we are discussing, we are the one who elected those people. I bet you can even talk about the diaspora, we in America. It's a nonsense because go to America, you'll see diaspora CDC, diaspora Unity Party, diaspora AMC. In fact, that's where the mess can start from before it gets to our people. There are people who will take phone and call their people. If you can't vote for that person, then don't depend on me again. And the people are coerced to make those kind of political decision.
Thank
their
you,
own
Marvin.
betterment.
Thanks,
So
Beth.
these are some of the foundational things that we have to address and put more emphasis on how the leadership mechanism is being derived as opposed to their function. And you put him there, and you are the one who messing up. That's all I can say.
Thank you. We'll stay behind for our post analysis. Speaking of the driver behind the economy, George happened to be a small business owner, and he knows this better. And even in the U.S., entrepreneurs and small businesses are the ones that move the U.S. economy, not the government as employer. But yeah, Georgie, I know, man, you've been. This is great. I never expect anything less. I hope this is not your last time coming. Make sure you're busy, man. I know that, but try to find time to come on here sometimes. You can be one of our guests or maybe guest panelists once in a while. This is for all of us. You've been one of the major supporters of BKS from way back, and to see where we are today. So thank you so much for coming. I know you've been here that long. We'll let you do your parting comments. You're from Sunny Quilly, so I'm going to ask you to add this to your parting comment there. So I'm not coming to talk about running business, so don't worry about it.
Obviously, CEO, I'm not running. I don't even have the legs to run.
I can't do that to you. I
don't have the legs to run right now, but
so
I can tell you for a fact that the future of BKS is in good hands, and I can see that. I have followed you guys over the years, man. Yeah. But let me go to Honorable Davis' point real quick.
Okay, cool.
One thing that I was say here when it comes to senior or junior senators of leadership position in Nimba County is that I believe 100% that we are all in it together. It is not about who is a senior, who is a junior, as long as we are fighting for the common good of the Nimba people. That matters to me more than somebody who holds just a power or position. And I also believe that the Constitution defines really who is a senior and who is a junior, even though they were not very explicitly into what what it says. But I can tell you for a fact that the Constitution clearly states that if somebody's died, maybe that person happens to be a senior senator, the person next to them becomes the junior senator. And also, what is the fact here is, if we all just come together to work for the common good of the Nimba people, instead of us trying to assert ourselves for power or position, I feel we are going to advance the agenda of the Nimba people. And I've seen that all the time. There are representatives and senators that I've met with. I've had conversations with, representatives. Some of them, that I already have personal relationship with. And I believe that whenever I have this conversation with them, my common goal here is, how can we advance the agenda of the Nimba people? Not just about us going to parliament and be discussing or debating or yelling at one another. What about back home? What about just providing basic necessities? I have President Samuel G's wife who went to all the villages and provided them with basic healthcare necessities. Rose G, right? So if all of us can just come together and say, you know what, this is the opportunity that we have to give, instead of just thinking that we have to be in power or position. I have a lot of students on scholarship, personally, that I just want to give them that opportunity for them to excel and then achieve their own personal potential. So I believe that in Nimba, we have the potential, and the only way that we can achieve this potential is for us to tap into the minds of the younger generation, especially folks who are coming up right now. Because our generation, you don't even trust anybody anymore. Because even if I do any good in my own district today, I'm going to be accused of trying to run for any political office because we are so suspicious of one another. We doubt each other. We doubt the sincerity of each other. And that is dangerous for a community that is striving. So I believe, CEO, the best that we can do as a community is to always unite, no matter how much we disagree with one another, no matter how much we disagree. We have to come together and then go for the common good, which is providing the opportunity that our community needs. And in my closing statement, CEO, I really want to thank you personally. I know BKS started from nowhere. And I know that your dad is going to be extremely proud of you for keeping up the legacy from the BKS TV show, from the foundation. You continue to elevate his legacy as well. And all the platform guests who always come on here to elevate that. And I know that they are emerging journalists who just want to start their own career. And this is going to be a show for you where you come and practice and get better. Right. And I believe 100% that this station is going to blow off. And, you will be booking us maybe a couple of $1 million for us to appear on the show. So I believe that you guys will do well. And I'm rooting for you guys. And I'm really, really rooting for you guys. And I wish BKS TV the best. And I'm looking forward, CEO, to be appearing frequently, even as a panelist or as a guest as well, just to discuss. As long as it is about the people of Nimba, I'm down for it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you so much, Chaji. Thanks. It has been great having you on here. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was the voice of George Flomo, the project director of UNICO, who also happens to be the son of Nimba and someone that is doing really, really well in the U.S. here and also in Liberia. Vet, as you can see, things are changing. I'm now a host. She don't made me to be a host by force. I've been learning. Cyrus then tried to get into politics, but they want to run away. Share with it, and they got me there. Now, then everyone that run away. Now I'm sitting here hosting people by force. But I love it though. I enjoy it, and I have been learning and on the job, as you can say, it has been a great thing. We as you know, we broke ground on our new project in Ganta. We have some work behind the scenes, acquiring the materials and putting things together. So, movement will be done here very soon. We'll start making some headway there. But it has been great. This is something that I enjoy. I like, even though I'm not a journalist. But it's something that I really like. I think our people of Nimba also are enjoying the show. Going from 200 people in July, as I was saying, to 10,000 real follower, organic follower on December 2nd. That's huge. So thank you to all of you, all of us for being here. Yeah, so as we always do, we do our parting statement. I will start with Cyrus. Cyrus in Kigali there, and I know the time is very late on the side. A man Junior came and we're in and out. So I will have him give his closing statement, and then we'll go to you, Vet.
Thank you, CEO. Good evening, Veteran David. It's good to see you once again. I don't have much to say. I think the veterans said it all on the senior and junior senator thing. There is nowhere in the Constitution you can find that spelled out that a longer serving person is a senior, and nothing of such. I think probably people who are elevating that debate, they are doing more harm to themselves, and it is not going to help our country. It's going to fuel the disunity more in the country, and it's going to take our people on a back and forth spree. Both senators are senators, like the veteran rightly said. They are senators. They have the same tenure, the same responsibility and let's respect them as such. But for people to be referring to certain person as a senior and junior, it would not be good for the county. We are already struggling with this thing of togetherness to come and speak with one voice and certain group of people. And CEO, like I will always say, Nimba is not on the right path. And I'm still in this belief that Nimba will actually come together to speak with one voice. Because the people who supposed to lead the way, the people have their side. The the way they run the county, it makes it scary for people to even make comments on other things. Now, just for Facebook post that Senator Koga made, something that in my mind appeared jovial. The guys were very personal with it. If you see some of the comments under that post, and since then they've been going back and forth. People are countering that, people calling him names. He's a traitor, they regret supporting him. And they think Koga supported them to get the space they have. Yeah, but they forgotten so quick. They go about calling him names only because he said, "Oh, he was not invited." How does somebody say Unity Party Nima chapter did not invite me? How is it offensive that people are so rude to him and things like that? And some of the things that always disappoint me. Most of the guys who say some of these things, most of the guys who make some of these comments, these negative comments, they are people who are supposed to be championing this unity cause because it benefits them, then it benefits me. I thought when people win election, the people who win are not to be angry. They are the ones that are supposed to bring people together. But you see the guys in real bitter mood. You see where and the other guys just addressing Koga anyhow. I mean, they pray that Nima comes together someday, but if things continue like this, trust me, everybody will go their separate way because after all, even though all of us are from Nima, but we got different homes. Everybody will go to seek their interest in where they will be respected. You can have a senator. The vice president was equally elected as the senator. All of them were elected. So to think that you will be disrespecting Koga and you expect Koga's supporter to respect the vice president, I think it is going to create a scene where people will say, "Oh, this other group is fighting, this other group is." It is not good for our county. It's not good for the image of the county. And I think it is about time that a VP approach the guys in his inner circle. Look, one thing I know about Koga, when Koga came here, he lectured all of us, Niba students here. He said, "Jeremy, you should not allow any other person to use you to fight for them, to misbehave, to insult. Any leader who asks you to insult another person, ask that leader to engage his or her own children to do the insulting. You should not put your character online. That's how leaders should speak." But it's embarrassing that every time people from the VP circle going after people who oppose the VP on slab policy issues, and each time people do that, that's how people, demonstrate intellectual muscle, in their camp. By the time you are bitter, by the time you offensively defend the VP at the detriment of other characters, then you are intellectual. I think it's against NIMBA. We need to come together in a genuine way for NIMBA to achieve whatever our plan is. But to have people like Doug Cooper around, and CEO is discouraging that most of the time the guys around a VP like Doug Cooper is one of them. A lot of people around the VP said this to me. They said, "My brother, Doug Cooper is always reminding the VP that he's not educated, and that if he should bring educated guys around him, he will be taking a huge risk." So they prefer working with people who are not educated to that extent because they can cajole them, they can teleguard them, they can make them to make whatever decision that favors the VP at any point in time. If he says let's go, so they go. If he says we should not go, they will not go. But Dokopo has created a scenario that educated people are hard to control. So bringing them around will be against the VP in the future. And that's why most of our qualified and competent Kingsmen are out of job. And the strategy is let's keep them at the back. When they are drowning by 2028, 2027, anything we give them, they will accept it. You know, it's a bad strategy. There are people who listen to their heart. There are
Thank you.
people that you give job to, they might not even accept your job, or even if they accept, they will say, I will not support you. Accepting job does not guarantee supporting you. So such a strategy from people like Dokobo who are not consistent, they are only loyal, their loyalty is tied to what they receive at the moment. I don't think it's a good strategy for Nimba.
Thank
You
you.
know, I think the VP should rethink to bring all of his brothers and sisters around to not be a friend of educated people. You can drink from their knowledge. You can benefit from what they learn. And say, Jeremy, what do we do? The office of the vice president is supposed to be occupied by real manpower,
Thank
people
you.
who are knowledgeable about documents. You know,
Thanks.
it's
Thank
not
you.
a good strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Cyrus. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me and helping to to basically moderate this show. Vet, it's up to you now. You can take us home.
Well,
Before you take us home, I got a question though. You guys had your fundraising GB stuff in Ganta. I'm pretty sure you follow it. What was your take on that? And you can add that to your partner statement.
well, thank you for the question. I think it was a great event, and the turnout was okay because mind you now, Liberia has over 21 political parties, and like I've said over the years, even I've said it on this show with Big Brother Calebo, this whole illusion about Nima speaking in a unanimous resounding voice. I think if anyone is thinking like that, that's a daydream. What the Unity Party knows is consolidate, solidify our strength, and be able to take over power as we did. Leaving power in 2018, regrouping, rebranding with the same candidate that lost the election, but new addition. It was quite a unique move. And when we were going to election 2023, we did not go there with the mind that Nimba would be one basket that we just take and carry it. If you look at the number of votes, various candidates across different political establishments or persuasions got their own share of the vote. That tells you that they got their own number. So to have our partisan in these turbulent times, especially in the face of a troubling economic situation based on past administration, because the Unity Party took over an economy that was completely wrecked, and so they're trying to resuscitate the economy. So in the face of the economic realities, to have our partisans come from their various quarters to turn out and make their own contribution to the process of having our parties headquarters built in Sanikole, I think it was quite a laudable move. And I want to say thank you to the organizer, the actors, and to the general population of our party for such a brilliant move. I think the party is trying to give birth to new ideas.
Mhm.
We're trying to take political ownership from being individual based to being people driven. In the past, political parties are associated with one popular name.
Yeah.
If you go to the ALP, you get the US out of it, there's no party.
Mhm.
If you go to even the CDC that is being loudly projected as the second most populated, party or the biggest opposition to this unity party arrangement, if you get George Weah out of it, it's zero. If you get to the newly established CMC, you get Musa Bedete out of it, that's a dead body. But I bet you can pull out Boaka, you pull out Kum, the unity party remains a force because it is an institution that has made men who are prepared and ready. You put Boaka out, you will have a Kum. You put Kum out, you will have Ara Wemo Pay, Gafuan. You will still have people. But you can't speak of any political party in that sense.
Right.
Okay, so we want to take the whole idea of political ownership that the people, because the Constitution says power is inherent in the people.
Mhm.
So why can we, democratize power? Why can the people own their party? So for the fact that they are turning out and putting their sense into the process, it gives them the ownership. They can speak now with a louder voice to say, this is our party. This is my contribution to the party. It's not always what the party will do for you, but what you can do for the party. Now, I want to talk some of the issues Cyrus raised
Mhm.
because I listened to the vice president to say, senior senator, the vice president himself has been in the corridor of legislative politics for a very long time.
Mhm.
And in the legislature, it's a different ball game. They get their own activities, their own kind of rules, their own kind of, way of guidance, way of conduct and stuff like that. So as a veteran legislator who has now gone to the executive, I think he might have spoken with some sense of knowledge relative to their own standing rules and stuff like that you and myself are not, knowledgeable to. And if we are, but not to that extent. And I must admit, it's quite clear we work for the Unity Party. We're part of the process and we were not absorbed or we are yet to be absorbed. But realistically, I see Kun as a humble man. I'm sorry to call him Kun, he's the vice president of the country. I see him as a humble man. Given the time that I spent around him and knowing the kind of person he is and his acceptance towards, many things that more people will be allergic to, he's just a different gentleman. I don't think he's someone who will want to see Nima in pieces. He's someone who will want to see a good county. And I don't see the wave of change in the leadership to be resentment against educated people of the country, because all of the people who are in government are educated, except that we look for a different definition to give to education. And of course, you have Victor, a young, energetic person. You have Prince Blue. Regardless of everything, he's a fine gentleman. He's been around. He has paid his dues. He understands some of the rudimental, or rudiments surrounding leadership and stuff like that. So we will not always expect the old order to be the decision-making factors of the day. We have to change the faces and the dynamics. We have to change. If it doesn't suit Marvin David today, that doesn't make it all bad. Every generation has a responsibility. They have a leader. And
But I'll hold you there for a second, though. That in Nehemiah, our people have this parable in Gil that says, "Wo said the bows says Zida," right? You you start plotting the new map using the older one. You and I both know there are a lot of veterans when it comes to the political play in Nimba who are not part of this whole new Nimba, the new stuff. So we can't ignore those people. You can't ignore those people, and because they also have their own follow and expect to just start from scratch, start from new, and then go further. Don't you think is something that is worth noting, acknowledging
The
that?
word ignore will be quite different to me as far as my own understanding goes, because yes, you plot the map beginning with the old ones. Look at the system. You still see the older ones there. The who has been in government for long, Anthony Myers, those are older heads. Yam Martin, those are older heads. There are a lot of old heads around there, and there are a lot of young people there. And in any case, there must be a breeding ground for young takeover. Especially in a country that is 60% of the population is youthful.
Right.
We will not continue to make the young people spectator and put them on the bench to watch for future that they are in. This is their time. And so they must be able to be there, they must be able to act. So for me, when it comes to a lot of the young faces, many of them, if you judge by the old order standard, will never be in government. But today, they are serious actors and decision makers. And I can always say it. We always talk about old age. I agree it comes with wisdom. But identity too is one thing. No one has proper change that they will not be a part of. Like you see an old man who is about to die. That old man wish is to see his children and grandchildren become whatever, for the future to take over from him. That old man is not a building person who can build a country. So if they can incorporate young people, young brain that still have that youthful exuberance into national leadership discourse, they might have their own learning curve, but with time, they will get better, and we will get to boast of them and their own ability to lead. So it's not all bad. While it is true that we still need people with experience to guide them and give them their training process, it's also clear that they should have their time to lead. And if you look at FDA for instance, Peter Pusa is working with one of Liberia's foremost veteran, loggers and forester. So he's had a platform now to learn from him. He has the platform now to understand the system, to know the international dimension and the debates out there that can be able to influence things for Liberia positively. And that's how the game should be. And that's why when Ellen took over, she did not just bring a lot of us young people into government. The mere way a lot of us went outside, learn, experience, come back. And if you check across this government, those are the people in leadership to the larger extent. So we always talk about Nimba. Yeah, it's good. In the face of population, there stands competition. So it is based on the competitive scenario that you and myself are making this call. And it's typical. Those of us who comes from the background of ecology, those of us who have taught in the natural science, in the population dynamics, there is always competition. For example, if you and myself three and we are cooking 3 cups of rice and eating it, there will be pigs. Or increase our number to 18 and cook 3 cups of rice, there will be war. Because everybody will want to survive. And that's why we are always urging our national leaders to be creative, to be innovative. Instead of making government this attractive, you got to, take away the attraction for national government. so that the private sector becomes very attractive, so that people who are into little managerial position for small company or for small businesses can be able to say yes, or people who are working for small businesses can be able to earn an income that they can survive on. Once you open the private sector and make the private sector more attractive, then you will get to take away the attraction from the public sector. Then the noise will cease. But in the midst of that, there will always be trouble.
Thank
So
you.
to tell you in short, I really am not that person who said thinking that 2029 you will derive a political formula that will bring NIMA together and have NIMA speaking in one voice.
That's
possible.
That's
Anyone who thinks like that must be, daydreaming.
Yeah.
But what we can do now as a party, what we can do as a people who support the current establishment is to continue to make our party accessible to the rest of NIMA, so that when the whistle is blown and the battle is declared open, at least we will have higher share of the NIMA's population as we have always had, which has catapulted us to victory. That's our call as a party.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that's actually the reality. And the last point that I stand with you, and I believe that I agree with you on that 100%. To think that the way NIMA used to be when PY just said this, 90%, 80%, 85% goes one way is going to be very, very difficult. I don't think it's going to happen. But Chris, my man, you came late. We were
gone.
We were about to close, so we'll give you 1 minute to conclude so we can go, because we've been here for a long time. You gotta remember, I'm not a host. I'm just filling in.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, CEO, and thank you to the veteran. I remember in the student days when we were coming here, we hear the name Madison Davis. Then we look up to them for mentorship. And most of the team I was about to talk on here.
You want to
talk about him.
You want to call it man age now? You can't call it man age on the show.
So what experience got to do with it? Jesus died at 33. You say got billions of people following him.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yes. So that's.
But I'm old. I'm old.
Yeah. So as I said, stand by A. There's no push on the Constitution. That was seen in June. We say to the debate, no matter what we think about it, they can do that, but we will still stand by legality when it comes to the constitutional matter. So, what the president talked about, the system encouraging young people to participate, to be in leadership, is a very serious issue to look at, because I found the path of many leaders in Africa, and daft to Tanzania, the late John Magufuli in Tanzania appointed young people, 27 years old, in his government minister. And when he tell you, a few years to see how country move. But those are experts, young people who have gone to school, are prepared, and their focus was on how to build their country. It was not about old people. Most of the ministers in his government are people in their 20s, 30s in Tanzania. You see how the country look today? Well built. But today in Liberia, if you have a president who is advisors older than him, if you have advisors older than him, it's where the issue are. Most of the advisors around the president, they are in their 70s. The son of Kofi Wu, they're a military advisor. So you don't expect people to encourage your president to bring more young people on board. They will always want for their kind. People that went to school together. People that attend the same church. These are people that encourage them to appoint. But today, we appoint people at Madison, a Minister of Foreign Affairs. He will bring a lot of young people that he has mentored over the years. I told somebody one time, I said, it was better to Tico in Liberia. And I said, stand by him. Because I appointed Tico in Liberia, they see him outside the country. Because one of those who have mentored young people in Nimba, and who bring young people in the workforce. Again, our brothers in Nimba who have been opportune to serve in some of the position, how many of them bring young people closer than is that? I don't want to name names on the show. But the records are out there, how many of them have brought somebody? It's difficult. So if we knock our chest for people in Nima, I'm not a supporter of media party. I always tell people, but if I recommend people, I would prefer people members to work in the government Liberia, Tigo to work in Liberia, because those are people that bring young people that they have mentored all the year and they can make a difference. But it's a good thing, and I hope like President will look in that direction and put more young people in their 20s and their 30s so they can contribute to the rebuilding of Liberia. The young people today who in their 70s, what kind of idea they have now? Money ideas. All the ideas have been in the 70s during their Moja, during their whatsoever dates. These ideas will bring on board. You don't bring any new idea in the 21st century. Compare Liberia with South Korea, with Japan. So sit in the seat table. You're not going to bring it. They will bring out Moja of Funet. They will bring up a Red Riot. That's the idea we have. It's not a Davis to our own force, but I think it's time to be retired. To allow the young folks in the 20s and 30s to take over the leadership in the various ministries so they can make a difference. But you can see it was a good show tonight, and we hope that Liberia will improve to another level no matter our political differences. We'll find ourselves in the act. I will pray for the better of Liberia to see Liberia improve. Because if Liberia improve, I'm a proud son of Liberia that will not my chest for. We don't breathe Liberia for the back for West. We pray for the better no matter the side we find ourselves. We all want the best for Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you. Has the Excellency responded to your letter? Mary. Mary, open letter.
But it's an open letter. They're not going to respond. They will read it hard.
Yeah. But yeah, it has been a great show. Thanks to our followers. I mean, it has been that time. We've been here 3 hours now. It was great having our brother George Flomo on the show. Tomorrow, Unity Party, Mafasi, y'all be raising fund tomorrow. Y'all will be talking about your December 6th program. Yeah, so we'll have. We are hoping to have Debatuze and other Unity partisans on here tomorrow to talk about their event. So feel free to come. Don't run away. Well, all right, yeah. Good night, guys. Thank you so much to our follower. Thanks to everyone. You have a wonderful, wonderful night, and thanks to everyone from BKS TV. Good night.
Thank you.